any minute. Should go through with Mike. Boom. Oh, I like the backdrop. Brick, you fancy. I do. Oh, you sneaky. You teasing me.
You're in my studio with the shitty
Oh,
lighting.
you're so fancy. Oh,
Some
people are already starting talking about people's manginas.
Good.
Mel, why didn't I shoot yesterday? My press isn't working, so I can't make ammo. And, the only guy I know that has an ammo company won't help a brother out, That's what it is. All right, so for those of you who don't know, this is Mike Stoker. If you've lived under a rock, you may not know that. If you have anything to do with shooting, you probably know who this is. So he is not only a fellow Atlas Gunworks teammate, he's also a fellow team captain, been one of my longest buddies in shooting, and he's also the president of Supervel Ammunition. So as well as you have, I don't even know how many other companies, you're a busy guy. You're a super busy guy.
Time is money.
Time is money. Someone said that's the casting couch studio.
It is. The black leather couches over there.
Yeah. All right. So, did I miss anything?
No, not that.
Not that you know of. So, for years, I guess, you have been the boomer stack granddaddy of them all. Mike has punished himself for how long did you shoot single stack?
About two seasons.
Two full seasons.
2019 and 2020.
So 2 full seasons of just, self-inflicted torture. No big deal. But you freaking dominated in single stack, I will say. You beat a lot of guys who weren't shooting single stack.
Yeah.
Fair to say. That's wild in PCC. But now you're shooting limited.
Correct. That was my plan. I started in carry optics for like a week till I broke like 4 optics, and then I shot limited for maybe like 5-6 months, and then I realized I was a really good mover from my sports background, but I was a garbage shooter, and so I pushed myself into single stack literally to become a better shooter, and I would not leave until I made Grandmaster.
Which you did.
Yes, which I made early last year, and I planned to shoot. COVID screwed it up. Last year I was supposed to shoot nationals. Initially it was supposed to be in May, like end of April.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to stay in single stack because I was done with it after 2019. I made GM. I was like, I'm done. Early 2020 I made it. And I was like, I'm going to shoot nationals, and then I'm going to switch to limited and stay in limited and shoot limited nats. But because of COVID, everything got smashed all towards the end of the year. So I stayed in single stack all the way through the rest of the season, and then switched to limited in like November. And I've been doing limited since then. And I got a long way to go.
Yeah, the high cap divisions, man, they're easier in some aspects, but they're harder in others.
Yes.
I think they all have their flavors, whereas single stack is harder because the stage planning and the stage execution and all the manipulations are harder. I wouldn't say harder, but more frequent. Some of them are harder.
Less room for error.
Yes.
If you err, you're punished.
Yeah.
Standing reloads, and that was kind of the mindset to me. A lot of holes in the game. That's how in sports. That's how I've always been. As if there's, I don't know what you'd call this type of person, but if there's something hard, I want to do that first.
That is called someone who has the strongest mentality when it comes to a sports background. I'm of a similar mentality, even though I'm an open shooter. I like everything. I like the difficult challenge.
Yeah, I get bored easy, which as we talk, whether it's business or pretty much in everything, I get bored. And if it doesn't keep me going, I'll go into something else. And that's I got stagnant. So when I left limited, I was I think I was C class in limited. And I went to single stack, and I made GM in I think it was 13 months.
Which is impressive.
It was an accident. I could have made it sooner, It was non-intentional. It just happened. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, this is what it is now. But
Yep.
so
Yeah,
that's kind of,
you were probably the first new GM in single stack since like 1986. But
yeah.
but yeah, super impressive. So now you're shooting limited. What do you think is, I mean, I don't know how to phrase this question. Which one do you think is more difficult from a competitive standpoint as far as the competitors you're competing against?
Oh, GM, easily. Just do, or not GM, limited. Sorry, it's been a long day. Just limited, just due to the volume of shooters.
Yeah.
I wish I got into the sport like 2 years earlier, because Carry Optics has pulled so many shooters from the division to where now, like locally, when I started shooting, my first mentor, Chris Culpepper, he lived here, top GM, very dominant,
Beast.
waxed everybody, and he got me kind of going in the sport. He moved away. I switched to single stack. Now when I've come back to limited, for me to go to a match and win, even if I win overall over PCC Open, like the quality of competition's degraded, but the limited division, a lot of those guys have moved into Carry Optics and PCC. Those two divisions pulled a lot. But limited gives me more of an opportunity due to the high capacity and the way stages are designed in the USPSA now. Not as much short course, where if I shoot a short course in limited, I pretty much can dominate because I'm so used to that single stack mindset.
Yeah.
But now it gives me an opportunity to chase, to beat Carry Optics guys and chase and try to beat and compete with the open guys. Where in single stack, you didn't have that. So on a local level, it's a lot more competitive. Single stack, it doesn't matter how much you do certain stages. When you got 32 round course with a bunch of Polish plate racks and moving steel, and a guy with an open gun can have those makeups, to where single stack, if you miss once, you're standing there and reloading. Yep. So it makes it hard to be ultra competitive. It doesn't mean I wasn't, but limited definitely has more opportunity for challenge. And that's kind of where I lost the feeling of challenge unless I went to majors. And when I did go to majors, I still placed either one or placed in the top, and with issues, and still did that. So that kind of told me, like, hey, the ceiling's a lot lower here, and I relate winning to like division and class, not to hurt anyone's feelings, because I've been ripped on this before. I don't care what class you are. All I see is overall. So like if you're going to win a C class title, cool. But the same goes for like single stack. If you win a single stack title, if you want to overall, but there's only like 15 shooters, that doesn't do much for me. So I kind of want to push into divisions where I have a higher chance of being near the top, reputable. A lot of people are telling me I'm stupid for leaving single stack, because if I want, to shoot worlds, if it happens the next, will that be 23? It's a much easier road in single stack than it is in standard division.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in standard division. I don't want it easy. I don't want it. It doesn't mean I don't like hiding. Not saying people are hiding from it, but the sport has gone away from low cap so drastically to where it takes the fun out of it.
It's dead. It's dead. Low cap's pretty much dead.
I love shooting single stack and beating, open or PCC guys when the opportunity is there, but that's very limited based on stage design. And now the stages, it's just not there, and there's not enough competition in it anymore. L10 needs to die, Revolver needs to die, single stack's right there, so it's kind of
Yeah, I have a similar mindset. Me and you talk about this a lot, because I don't find a whole lot of people who have the same mentality as I do, as far as the competitive nature and just the sheer will to want to just dominate everyone and everything. I don't want it easy, you know what I mean? Which is why I chose open. I was pretty good at limited. I was just starting out at limited. A lot of people told me stay limited, but I was looking at which division has the best guys. Like if I'm gonna compete, I want to beat the best. The best seem to be in open, and limited is getting pretty saturated now too, since low cap divisions are dying. So I'm going to play in a little bit of that, but dude, if I'm going to make it to a world shoot, I want to be there because I'm the best. I don't want to be there because I chose an easy division. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, open, if we could get the USPSA to allow single action and carry optics. That's the division I would compete in.
Oh, I'd love it.
With Atlas, obviously I can't. So open is not an end goal for me, but definitely a division I will compete in. I wish open and limited weren't always paired together, because
Yeah.
I would love to shoot both. But when the Chaos 2, if or whenever that happens, I will be shooting. Yeah, I will be shooting, playing in open at least, because I've shot like Tate. We'll compete together, and we'll be running stages, and I'll shoot his gun. I'm like, dude, you should be murdering everybody. This is cheating. Like, I look at some of these open guys. I'm like, dude, you got a dot like that mini popper at 30 yards. I could smoke that with my irons, and I see this dot, and it's fun. It's fast. It's a rush. It's where the speed's at. So
It is.
I'll move up there in due time. It's all a process for me, though.
It's like somebody said open is PCC wannabes. Yeah, okay. Open is, to me, much faster, much more competitive, and much more technical than PCC. Open is the Formula One of our game. So if I'm going to be racing, I don't want to go out in a cup car. I want to go out in a Formula One. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difference between limited and open.
Yeah.
So
There's Tate right there. We're talking about you, Tate.
Yeah, Tate. He was talking about how much he could dominate you with your own gun. Mike, will you adopt me and give me guns to show the love? Yeah, no.
I very much, like, if you're in the Vegas area, a lot of our top competitors, I think we only have like 2 GMs in the Valley, maybe. Dude, I have too many Atlases to shoot. I can't shoot them all. I only got 2 hands.
Yep.
So if guys are in the area and they need a gun, I've always been open to, hey, what do you want? Single stack, limited guns? You want Nemesis, Artemis? What do you want to shoot?
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Oh, Tate said, let's see it. I got to back up. Oh, I think y'all should shoot open against each other.
You don't want that.
Tate, are you sure, Tate? Are you sure?
I got to beat you in limited first with my limited gun, and then I'll shoot your open gun.
Tate, you cannot let him beat you with a limited gun. You'll never live it down for the rest of your days. Just don't let it happen. Yeah.
I'll chase reins you.
Oh, hey-oh. Oh, man. All right, so what's your goals for this season? I ask kind of everybody this, and I get the different answers, right? But you're somebody who has the same mindset as me, so I think we're gonna probably touch the same topics on this. What's your goal for this season specifically?
It's kind of an interesting one. So I'm still kind of filling out limited division. I haven't shot. I shot area 2, which was kind of a joke for me in limited. This weekend is actually my first major, and there's 5 GMs, limited GMs. There's like 62. So I'll really see where I'm at.
Which match is that?
Roadrunner in Cali.
Nice.
So it's a really good match, really technical match. Last year I should have won it single stack overall, and someone barely beat me, bastard. He's probably on here. But I will, to be frankly honest, my goal in limited is top 16 at nationals.
Yep.
And that sounds to some people like, what? But when I look at like what I'm doing, where I'm at, and I watch the top guys, I have the skill set, I have the speed, I have the ability. I just need the time, we'll say. And so a lot of my focus right now, I'm in phase 2 of my training. I've been now a little over 2 years competing. I took a little bit of a break, like 2 weeks. But switching divisions got like my fire going for training. So single stack, in the beginning of it, I was too fast and I wasn't patient. And I need to learn patience with my sights, with my trigger, with everything. And it taught me that patience, but I think I hung around too long because when I came back in the limit, I was a bit stagnant. So talking with JJ, it's like, hey, phase 2, you need to push the speed. And so for the past, since November, I've been operating at 120%.
Yep.
And I'll go to matches and people are like, dude, you just dropped this many points to this or that, but it's about the long game. So I went into phase 3 last week, and the week before I'd shot a match and was like 11th overall, and everyone's like, well, this and that. I went last week and shot a clean match, won overall by like 6%. I'm like, oh shit. But that's a difference of phase 2 to phase 3 of execution mode, and I'm really pushing. I watch like Gianni. I watch him shoot probably the most out of all the limited heat.
He's such a beast.
He's the future of limited based on just purely his speed of shooting.
Oh yeah.
And I know I'm not as quick and agile, and I broke too much shit, but I use that as a speed chase for me, realizing that ability is there.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be a time thing though. So my goal this year is top 16 in nationals,
which is a good goal. I think that's doable.
If I don't DQ, I'm going to do it.
I don't DQ.
It's going to happen. So
I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna fucking die trying. That's pretty much what that statement was.
I would like to at least get one area win. So that's kind of my goal. I want to win the state matches I compete in. I want at least one area win, and then top 16 at nationals. At IPSC, same thing. IPSC Nats. I'm shooting a lot of IPSC this year.
Yeah.
As much as I can get into. So I need to be in the top of all of them. Because my goal is to shoot worlds, to shoot internationally. I personally love IPSC way more than USPSA, like 100 times more. I would shoot IPSC every day or USPSA. So it suits my technical style a little bit more. The movement, the positioning fits me a little bit more, and I enjoy it. It's more fun to me. I like consistent, constant shooting, not run to this position, spray, run to this position, spray. I like flow and to capitalize on true ability in that sense. So watching like Eric Gaffel daily posts just gives me a hard on, and I'm like, I want to go shoot IPSC, more IPSC. So that's kind of my 2020. My goal as far as shooting, I have a lot of other shit too, but that's my limited goal.
That's your limited goal. Mullets and Bullets, who's actually one of my students, he's actually working a little bit of a chase right now. So could you explain phase 2 training? So there's a lot that goes into that. Explaining just phase 2 would not make sense. So Riley, hit me up after this and I'll explain phase 1, 2, and 3 to you. It's a JJ Ricasa technique. It's pretty awesome.
I try not, people ask me all the time, I'll say it in posts like, oh, I'm in phase 2. Like you got to take JJ's class. Basically, I could say the 3 phases, which he's publicly will say. 1 is like fundamentals and foundation. 2 is your growth phase to push speed, to grow.
Your exploration stage.
Yeah, exploration. And 3 is execution, overload, dial in, match mode, lock it down.
But there's about 900 things that go into each phase that it's hard to explain just explaining it.
Well, and every shooter is going to perceive it differently. So it's really one of them. Really a thing of like what it means to me might be different based on the vision of what you're doing. Taking his class for interpretation is the best advice. I get hit up all the time with like training technique, and I'm like, nope, that's not for me to. Like I'll say what I'm doing, but I'm not going to teach you his method. You got to go and pay him to teach you his method.
Yeah. He spent a decade perfecting that, so rightfully so. He should be the one to explain it. All right, so let's get into ammo, man, because the big elephant in the room is ammo is a son of a bitch right now, and if anyone's going to know anything about it, it's going to be the president of an ammo company. So I kept getting when people found out that you were coming on here, I got inundated with questions about when's ammo gonna get normal again, and when are primers gonna become available, and is it ever gonna go back to normal, and blah 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 blah, and is there still ammo for a good price? So give us your thoughts on this ammo situation and what you think it is and when you think it's going to be over, if it is going to be over, and what are y'all doing?
Yeah, I can tell you what I know. I know that every day it changes. Every single day. It makes it hard for me to communicate with customers because you called me Monday and then called me Tuesday. It's completely different. As manufacturers, we're definitely in the dark as far as components go. What I do know is that I've had millions and millions and millions and millions of components on order. And right now we're receiving components that were ordered last February. And we're not receiving full order. We're receiving, like if I ordered 1 million primers, I get like 50,000. So as far as when things are going to lighten up, it's not going to happen till middle 2022. If it does, understand if Trump had gotten in, then yes. But with current gun legislation being pushed, ammo's next, people freak out, people panic buy, people that shouldn't be buying are buying, whatever. But it's just going to continue to drive the craze. You will see waves of components and stuff coming in. A lot of importing from Bosnia, Brazil. There's, I think,
You ever been to Bosnia?
Yeah. The primer factory is being built right now. There's 4 of them. The good thing is they don't manufacture ammunition. Primers are the biggest issue and have been for the longest time. But even to right now, bullets are getting behind, and some of the biggest powder manufacturers are out as well. So really it's going to take people to calm their tits, because it's just panic buying, plus the new 9 million gun owners are driving it up, and there's not enough time and there's not enough manufacturing to sustain it. When you add COVID on top of it, in some of these factories where they're located are limited on staff, plus if they're importing raw materials, however that's been hurt because of COVID. Is not just U.S., it's international.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things going on. It's not
going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Some people are getting excited right now because they're seeing primers pop up and a little bit of a push. Some of that stuff's being imported. But the issue, the way I see, due to some of the programs that I've set in place with our company, where we allow customers to send primers to us, is I have a real pulse on what the customers are getting, what's out there, who's manufacturing, what's coming in. And it just goes up and down in waves. We'll see a surge. Everyone gets excited. But what happens is, guys that normally wouldn't buy ammo will buy 100,000 primers and put it on GunBroker for $300 a thousand. And that's not going to go away. And the guys buying that, they're in dev groups, they've got bots set up, and Midway puts it on and 2 a.m. and they buy it up and then they flip it. And that's gonna keep happening. It's not gonna go away anytime soon. It's gonna take, I would say, towards the end of the year, when some of these primer factories that are being built right now, the 4 that I know of, get up and running. The good thing is they don't manufacture ammunition. They're gonna be manufacturing primers. So a lot of all your main primer manufacturing right now in the United States, the 4 companies, CCI, Federal, Winchester, Remington, 3 of them are owned by one group, Vista Outdoors, and one person, that president, manages all that. So when majority, 3/4 of the product is controlled by one group, it's a monopoly. So what's been happening is new factories are opening up and are in process of being built. Most of them should be done towards the end of the year, hopefully. And they're selling to manufacturers like me and direct to public. So that'll take a lot of the pressure off and hopefully allow things to start rolling. But you still have, brass, bullets, and other things as well. The primers are the hardest thing to manufacture. That's why they go the quickest. That's why they take the longest to get caught up. So
yeah, many things said they send ancient primers to Mike.
Yeah. Some of this stuff, when I started the BYOP program, I think it was like last June or July, I'm pretty tied in with a lot of companies I've worked with in the past in the ammo business. And I got like so many calls like, you're an idiot, dude. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you crazy? Like, is this really going to work? You think it's going to work? But what it's done for me is I don't want to say 10x. Financially, we've 30x'd our company. Size of employees, we've 10x'd our company. Staffing, growth, because I did that, while all these other companies had to sit on their hand because they couldn't get components. And no one's ripped it off. I haven't found anyone else crazy enough to do it. It's just
who's laughing now, motherfuckers?
Yeah. So on my part, though, it is a logistical, headache. You can imagine people sending in components. At the start of this, you were getting like CCI Federal. Now it's like shit from their grandpa's basement. I'll have to post a picture. I got some primers in from it was like the 1940s in the original packaging, like original CCIs before warning labels were on. People are desperately finding.
Are you even loading stuff like that, or are you saying sorry?
No, so what we do, on our website, you'll see BYOP, all the rules, what we want, needs to be in good condition. And typically if primers do come in like that, there's been times where they're collectible And I'll say, hey man, I'll load your ammo. I'm keeping these primers. I'll use my own just because they're a collector item to me.
Yeah.
But if a lot of the issue with primers and people reload in the garage, and if you're like in Vegas or Texas or in a humid area, moisture and heat are the worst thing. Metal expands when it gets really hot. The cups expand, the anvil works its way out, and our commercial grade machinery, they don't feed. You might be able to feed them on a Dillon, but on a commercial grade vibratory system, the primers have to be in spec. So some of the older stuff or stuff that's been stored in a wet climate or an extremely hot climate will have expanded to where they actually won't feed and they're out of spec. So when older stuff comes in, we try initially I would just kick it back, but now things are so desperate. We try our best. I mean, I've pulled thousands of and measured and mic'd and tried to do my best to be able to get this customer their ammo. With everything though, and this is another logistical headache, what you send is what you get.
Yep.
So you can imagine all the machinery we run. We segregate your primers, you load, you get it back. No one else is getting it. So what you send is what you get, and that's on you. If they don't go bang because it got moisture or whatever it is, that's just how it is. I cover if there's any. We have less than a 1% loss rate. We're very heavy on QC. So any loss rate we cover and fill with our own. So if you send 1,000 primers, you're gonna have some loss. We cover it, so you'll get 1,000 rounds. It's a headache though, but it's one of I'm a crazy dude, so I do crazy stuff, and it's worked out. And the guys in the shop, bless their heart, that have to deal with my ass all day because I've been going since 3 a.m. and I'm still like this. Imagine me all day long.
Oh yeah.
That's just how it is. So it's
you're a high-strung personality, which is why, we get along. It's because I'm similar. I'm 100 miles an hour from the time I get out of bed. My wife hates it. She's not a morning person. I wake up and I'm like, fucking go. And she's like, you get out of the house.
A morning person and a Monday person. So Monday, I'm like, on Sunday, I have a hard time going to sleep because I'm so excited to crush Monday. And that blows people's mind, but it's a winning mindset thing. But everything I do in life, the other businesses and everything I deal with, if I wasn't that way, I would go crawl under a rock. Like I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Old Laney Basham trick right there.
Yeah, with winning in mind. Laney's my man. So that's how, for me, the whole Laney Basham, it's funny because I've always been that way with business and all my business success, and it rolls right into shooting. It's funny how the success doesn't matter where you apply it. It's the same principles. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I have to live my life, but that's why I do good at pretty much everything I do. Not to toot my own horn, but that's the confidence.
It's all right, dude. Toot your own horn, bro. Fuck it. That's what this is for. This is the toot your own horn show. I toot my own horn all the time. People don't like it. Yeah, fuck them. That's how I feel about it. All right. So, long story short, you're fucked for ammo for a long time. So, and I'm noticing. So I actually my powder measure is fucking up on my Dillon. It's throwing like 4 grain variations. It's ridiculous. And so, and it just started happening. Like literally I went to load, and I'm very anal, right? Like I check everything, and it loaded like 150 rounds flawless, just like it normally does. And then all of a sudden, and this was Saturday night before my match on Sunday, all of a sudden it just started throwing random variations. And I'm like, what the shit, right? So I call Dillon, and they say, well, sucks to suck. That's on back order for 4 months. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, well, can I send it to you? And they're like, yeah, you could, but you're going to wait a while. And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Dillon we're close with Dillon, with the owners. We're all personal friends with them.
Well, tell them some bitches I need a powder measure, dude. So, you're like, hey, my boy over here needs a powder measure.
Dillon they're very far, very, very far behind. There's only one ammunition that Dillon sells. Do you know what it is?
Supervel?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you got an extra powder measure laying around down there?
I probably have 100 of them. I'll see.
Well, come on, bro. Send me one. I need one for a 1050. Hook a brother up, man. This is where having friends in high places comes in handy. What good is it? That could be, that could be like a, hey, thanks for having me on your podcast. Here's a Dylan powder measure. Send me $109 because that's what they cost.
Well, that's cheap. But yeah, no,
that's cheap.
Everything in manufacturing is behind too, and that's a lot of the issue too. Is like, a lot of this stuff with manufacturing, a lot of the companies that are building machinery, and they're way behind on parts and stuff they can get with. Like, one of Dylan's issues is one of the parts and one of the materials. They're having issues sourcing. That happens with almost every company, so it's making it hard. Like us, for a company, my goal, and one of the other companies I own a consulting business. So companies hire me. This is what got me into Supervel. As a business solutions, business consulting, not just on marketing, but actual infrastructure of businesses and growing. And typically it's either failing businesses or startups. They're failing and they need to be saved, or they're starting up and want to go on the right path. The problem, it's just a sourcing issue. So with ammo right now, like with us, when I look at where we are at, where we started, where we're at, my goal, like in an ammunition, it's not easily, but there's no reason you can't have $100 million company.
Yep.
If you are manufacturing, start an ammo company on Dillon's, there's no reason in 2 years you can't be a $10 million company. And I'm telling you that because I've done it a couple times. There's no reason you can't. But the issue right now becomes, one, the components to manufacture. That's where you have to become creative. So my main stake right now is Supervel, and is to build a $100 million company. Well, there's no components, so I'm going to get creative. And we are, and we're getting there. But then you fall into like machinery, manufacturing, and manpower. So COVID is really hurting companies based on location, who they can have, how many people they can have, what they can do. But also, it doesn't matter how many primers, how much components I have if I don't have the machinery to load. And so that's like, for us right now, and scaling a lot of these ammo companies that are smart and doing it organically and are scaling machinery. If I try to order an upgraded machine, stuff's a year out. So it's very much a cash heavy game. Where if you're smart and you plan and you're not afraid of risk and you do things appropriately in the beginning, you will be okay. But anyone growing a business, my job is easy because I play with other people's money.
Yeah.
So I own companies and I do my own financial stuff. But when a company hires me, a lot of entrepreneurs are growing a business. The biggest holdback is fear. That's with sports. That's with anything. The fear of failure. And if you're afraid of failing, you'll never succeed.
Yep.
So bringing a person in like me, that I failed a lot, but I've succeeded a lot, and you always learn. You never fail, you learn, right?
Yep.
So with the ammo companies, it's having confidence and ability, willing to take a risk, but not leverage everything to bury yourself, and do things organically. But truly, right now, the stranglehold is, aside from components, it is machinery. So with the increased demand, even if components become available, there's only so much you can manufacture because of machinery. What the unfortunate thing, and this happened back after Sandy Hook in 2012, when all these reloading companies popped up, there was a similar issue, and companies cut corners and mainly within their QC of their product, because they were trying to keep up with demand, make the money while they could. So they cut corners because they weren't able to get QC machinery or whatever it may be, which is a big no-no because a lot of those companies are out of business now. So you definitely need to do that. But it's a big circle jerk is all this is.
Somebody said many things said, how many IGs do you run, Mike?
What's
Too many. Many things asked, how many Instagrams do you run?
No, seven.
Jesus Christ. And you're active on your main one a lot, which you're active on all of them. I mean, I've said this a couple times, like you're extremely, to be the president of an ammo company, as well as you have many personal companies that I guess not a lot of people really know about. I mean, I know how many you have, but to do that and shoot full time and run as much content as you do, is ridiculous.
I don't,
Ridiculous.
I don't sleep much, and I've got kids and puppies and.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like you're like super dialed in on the family side too, because like you're always hanging out with the kids, you're always playing with those freaking bulldogs who are adorable. You're always hanging out with your wife. Like you balance it all pretty well, which I don't think people give enough credit where credit's due. That's an impressive thing, because I mean, I feel like I do a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I run businesses. I got some other personal investments that I do. And trying to keep up with the content full time, and a podcast and all that. Sometimes other things get lost in translation. And they get kind of swept to the winds. I'm pretty good about, I give my wife as much attention as I possibly can. So I'm pretty good there. But, friends and stuff, there's sometimes like my best friends, man, like I don't talk to them I don't talk to them. What?
That friends can be a waste.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually get asked this question quite often on like, how do you do so many things, but how do you do so many things good, or how do you manage that, and how is life okay? My simple backstory on this is life wasn't okay, and I was forced to make it okay.
Yep.
So I just turned 31 a couple weeks ago, but I
you don't look a day over 25, baby.
I started my first company at 18.
Yep.
I made my first $1 million by 23. So people are like, what the hell? But by the time I was 23, I had failed at 4 businesses. And it goes back to risk, right? By the time I was 26, I lost my wife, my house, my kids, and was on the edge of filing bankruptcy. So I went from here to the very bottom very quickly, but I didn't stop. I just went back and got back on the horse, fixed my marriage, fixed my family life, fixed everything, and prioritized. So a lot of people, I live by a very strict rule with friendships, with business, with business partnerships, with any affiliation, anything I do. Literally everything in my life is, if the bullshit outweighs the value, I get rid of it.
Yep.
That's family, that's friends, that's pretty much anything I do, because I've been shown, due to what's happened in my life, that life is very short, life is very valuable, and we want to make the best of it. So I am very
valuable.
Yeah. I'm very meticulous on my scheduling, on my planning. I track everything I do. I write down everything I do, and I prioritize life. And so for me, I have my list of priorities every single day, and the very top one is my wife and my kids and everything else.
Yep.
Can fall in order with business, with shooting, however you want to prioritize. And I think people overcomplicate it, and they don't realize I have the same 24 hours as you do, right? We all have the same 24 hours. If you track how much time you spend on social, how much time you spend on, watching TV or bitching and laying on the couch, your life's so hard. The successful people are successful for a reason, because they utilize their 18 hours.
Yep.
They sleep 6 and they work.
Fucking 6 would be nice.
Yeah, they grow for 18. But think of that. Most people bitch at a 9 to 5. They'll work 8 hours and they want to sit on the couch, right?
Yeah.
So when you're an individual who, I'll just use myself as an example in business. If I manage an ammo company. I run an ammo company, and I own 2 other companies. I sold 3 other companies when this all started, and I shoot full time, and I travel to like 20 majors, and I feel like, how the hell do you do it? And my wife gets to stay home, homeschool my kids. We get to go on vacation. We get to do, it's like you're living 3 lives. I'm like, yeah, I am, because I get 1, right? Yep. But the difference is I get up at 3 a.m. and I work until 5 p.m. And then I do family stuff, and then I work, or I train, or I make the most of my 18 to 20 hours in my day. So what the average person, what they accomplish in their 8 hours stresses them out. They don't realize what they're truly capable of if they just put their phone down, got off the couch, and learn to utilize like social media, like my activity. Most of that stuff's scheduled. Like I'll plan out a week on Sunday. I'll spend 2 hours and have a week's worth of content planned. And that shit will auto post. And I'll plan everything out strategically so you're not sitting there. And I need to be better on it. My wife will call me out on that. But the whole point is, if my eyes are open, I'm progressing in life, whether
Yeah.
it's financially, whether it's spiritually, or with the family, or whatever it is. If I'm not going forward, I get depressed real easy because of this, though. But I have to be making moves constantly. That's the way to be successful. And it's not for everybody, though, I'll tell you that.
No,
Because
it's
some
not.
people want to be on it and they're like, screw this, I'll rather go eat tacos and sit on the couch, which is fine.
Yeah.
And that's one of my personal goals in 2020 is to learn to how to decompress, relax, and like coming on this podcast. Like typically, I get asked on podcasts all the time, and I'm like, nope, not worth my time. Like I'll be frank with you, like that's how I am. You're worth my time. You're a friend, so hey, this is a
Aw,
priority. I'm here.
I
Yeah,
feel so
and
special.
you're sexy, so that's worth it to me.
You're a sexy motherfucker too, bro. It's awesome. Got a chub right now. No, I'm of the same mentality. Like
A
my
sex
day,
robot?
my day usually starts anywhere from 4:30 to 5 o'clock. I'm up, run every morning, gym, train, go to work. Work until 6 o'clock. Get off, come do this podcast. Or if I'm not doing this podcast, I'm working. I'm doing something. I'm either going back and going training. Wife gets
Well,
home.
you're always moving forward.
Always.
You're always progressing, and
Yeah, like today I've been going since 5 o'clock this morning, and got home from work, jumped straight on this podcast. Wife just got home. Whenever I get off this podcast, in the next hour or hour and a half, however long it runs, then I go hang out with the wife, eat some dinner, and then when she goes to bed at 11, I'm doing this, getting ready to post this podcast. Then I probably dry fire, and then I go to sleep, wake back up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's just always
well,
moving.
Dave Ramsey has a good saying, stuck with me from like very young, is live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else.
Yep.
Basically, meaning do what no one else will do. That way, later you get to do what no one else can do.
Yep.
And that's kind of and it's really not that hard. Life's not as hard as people make it. I mean, we all have
it's not at all.
setbacks, but it's kind of a matter of just putting the will and finding the way to go about it, and it's what do you really want. So
Yeah, 100%. I
it's
have.
kind of my mentality. And I love trial and error. I don't want to say I love failure, but I love learning. So I accept failure because I know I've learned. So you'll hear me say I've never failed because I've always learned, and that's always a win.
Yeah.
I think that mindset is the mindset to separate anything you do, whether it's a relationship or shooting sport or whatever it may be. If you acknowledge failure as a failure, you're going to fail again. If you acknowledge failure as what you learned to do better, you have a higher odds of succeeding the next time. But the difference is trying again. Failing to try or trying to fail again, right? You always want to continue moving. So
failure is a brick that lays the path to success for sure.
Mike, did you go to college? If so, dude, I barely graduated high school. Did you go to college? If so, what did you major in? I did go to college. I did not major in anything. I got out of high school and I pretty much went and took as many business classes as they would let me until they required more like, hey, you can't take this business class till you have this science. And I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with business?
Yep.
Right. So my main studies when I was in college for the short stint was psychology and business. I knew that I'm very fortunate. I'm 5 of 6 kids. My father is successful in business. All my siblings are all very successful in business. So my entire life, I was fortunate to, my first job, I was mentored in business from a very young age. So all of my knowledge in business is by watching entrepreneurs go from zero to millions, and I got to see it over and over. So I'm very privileged and blessed in that area. But in college, I literally went in there already owning companies just to grasp knowledge that applied to what I wanted to do. And everything that I've done since then has been off my own, just going for it.
Being a savage.
Dude, I'll be straight up like, I'm the best bullshitter. Maybe not as good as Trevor. I'm close. But
I am quite a good bullshitter.
A lot of my career is based on confidence and fake it till you make it. I'm not afraid to try anything, and I've always figured everything out. So when I started in companies, I come from a family of wealth. I've never used a penny of family money. I've always done my own growth and built my own companies organically. And it's 100% based off of not afraid to take the risk, but being broke. Being broke requires you to be creative.
Yep.
So I learned how to build websites. So now Stoker Solutions, one of the companies that I own, when companies contract me, you know, I have a web development team. I have videographers. I have all these guys to do this work now. But at one point, it was because I built my own companies.
Yep.
I built my own websites. I built at least 10 .coms. I've already built and sold those. I've done the marketing side. I built everything and learned myself because I didn't have the money to pay somebody.
And getting good at that is just not being afraid to say, I'm going to do it. You know, I don't, just because I don't know how to do it doesn't mean I can't do it. You know, I mean,
easy. Most of it's easy and people are afraid to try. And the problem I feel with our education system is they put this big umbrella, this cloud over, this is knowledge only obtained if you go to school and get an MBA, or like, this is untouchable.
And 90% of it is bullshit.
Yeah, knowledge is clients that come to me, it's based on track record.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's other companies that do in a similar space that have MBAs, that have these degrees, but how many $1 million companies have they built and managed?
I love Elon Musk said, no, I didn't go to Harvard, but a lot of people who work for me do.
Yeah. But the whole point of the concept, it's like in school, there's a lot of bullshit into it, but what percentage of knowledge really is taken away from a college education, I feel is very small, that you can teach yourself very rapidly, individually, if you're a motivated individual, and you can directly pick the knowledge you want that pertains to your business, but you cannot be afraid to fail, because the biggest learning experience comes when you fail. Yep. And that's one of the best things that companies almost need to happen, is they need to fail within, not fail entirely, but fail within, to learn how to diversify and be open to acknowledgement of their own shortcomings and then change. And that's kind of within shooting sports, within everything, is I'm a man, most men are hard-headed, but I've learned, like, if I suck, tell me I suck and I'll change.
Yep.
If I have an error, tell me I have an error and I'll change. But that applies to relationships, that applies to, it's about life transparency, but being honest with yourself. And that's probably the quickest way. Like, if you're on this show watching just because you want to get out of C class, D class, B class, whatever it is, you need to be able to look at yourself and be like, hey, that sucked. I need to fix this. Here's how I'm going to do it.
Yep.
Because if you can't accept that, and if you can't look at yourself and say, hey, that's a problem, I need to fix it, then you're always going to be the same. If you're not,
fear of failure is the biggest crutch in anything.
Yes. I try so much wonky shit. People are like, why are you tinkering with that? Why are you trying, whether it's a gun setup, because I don't know what's best, and I don't know if something's not better if I don't try it. And that goes with everything in life, except for marriage. You don't want to try different women. Pick your wife and stay with her.
Yeah.
But relationship-wise, you lock that down. But business growth, personal growth, financial, shooting growth is go get instruction from as many trainers as you can. Read as much quirky, wild stuff, because it worked for someone. It might work for you.
Yeah, Gooses. And so many people are giving me shit about my hair, man. This is bullshit.
Yeah, you look like dude, I had that haircut in middle school. When I had hair, I was like 13 before I started balding. I rocked that.
Hey, bro, this haircut's the shit. Don't get it. So usually it's not like this, but I haven't gotten a haircut in like 3 weeks. So it's so long. I was just like, what can I do with it this morning? I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. There we go. We're done.
If you frosted your tips, then we'd be golden.
Don't tease me with a good time, dude. I've done dumber shit for way less of a reason. So somebody said, do I approach sponsors if I think I can help them? Yes. Here's the thing. I have a firm belief that I can help, that I can bring value to anyone, right? And that's done me. I've had that mentality through my entire life. I can find a way to be valuable. Like Mike said, I bullshit my way into anything. I was 21 turning 22 when I became the vice president of sales for an oilfield company. And I've only stepped up from there. And I bullshitted my way all the way into that position, right? Like, but I am not afraid to just jump in head first and fake it till you make it, right? So I'm a firm believer of, if I come into a company, I am going to help you in some way. And I do not also affiliate myself with companies that I don't think are worth my time. Like I've had companies reach out to me, hey man, we'd love to work with you. And I look at it and say, I don't see any value here. I don't see the value in the product for me, and I don't see the value in me for the product as much as I would like to, right? You just, stuff like that, you got to be honest with yourself. If you don't think they can help you, it's not worth your time, and vice versa. If I think they can help me, but I don't think I have the time to help them, I'm not going to commit to something like that, you know? And people make fun of me because I have a good amount of sponsors. You know, I'll sell the windshield if I think it's worth it, but I do that for a reason.
You're gonna have a shift. We're going to make a goal for you for 2022 that every logo on that jersey is paying you monies. That's the goal.
That goal is already completed.
Good.
Yeah.
Most can't say that. That's smart.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want a logo.
No, there's not a logo on my jersey that doesn't earn that spot. Good. The only one that I would say is on my jersey, just simply because I love the person who owns the company, is probably Valhalla Armory. And that's because one of my best friends owns the company, and he actually does help me out a lot. I mean, he's been my travel partner for the last 2 years. I mean, he's paid for hotels, he's paid for gas, he's paid for matches before, where I'm just like, hey, I'm going to sign up for this match. And he's like, you're already signed up. I paid for it already. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I need
to hang out with him more.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, I'm a firm believer of, you got to bring value. And if you don't think you can bring the value, don't step up. And if you don't think they can be valuable to you, don't, just because they're a big name, it isn't worth your time, right? Just because they have some massive social media presence, they're not going to do shit for you. You know what I mean? So why even bother?
On a sense of sponsorship, I'll speak both sides because I'm sponsored by a few companies and I sponsor quite a few people.
Yeah, if you could just get on board with sponsoring me, that'd be fucking great.
So I get approached, I get blasted daily with Supervel, with individuals wanting to be sponsored shooters. The best thing I can advise anyone who's new to the sport is wait. Unless that sponsorship is 100% going to allow you to shoot to where you couldn't initially, wait. The other thing I can advise is know your value. The best thing you can do is know your value, and a company, if they're managed correctly, will pay you for your value. And if they don't, you don't want to be with them because eventually it'll come crashing down. When approaching, so me personally, I've never approached a company for a sponsorship. Not that I can remember. Most every company's approached me, but not because of shooting, more so on the marketing and the other things that I do is how the connections are made. What that shows is it's a business. So for me, with Supervel, we get approached constantly. We're in an ammo crisis. We don't need to sponsor anybody. We don't need sales. We can't keep up with the amount of sales and traffic. When I put stuff on our site, it sells out faster than you can snap your fingers.
Yes, it does.
Credibility. So if you're an individual and you want, we'll say, an ammo sponsor, a gun sponsor, I get to see that application hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times of all the begging, of all the ways to go about it, or hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm cool. That doesn't appeal because at the end of the day, we're still a company. So the more unique you are and the more value you can bring, the better chance you have. And you want to differentiate yourself from the hundreds of other people that are approaching you. Being a great shooter has some brand credibility wise, but it's much more attractive if you can make a company money.
Yep.
In this sport, when I first, was getting into it and looking at the sponsor thing, there's a bad stigma of sponsoring shooters is a waste of time and a waste of money because these companies would throw this money and not see a return. So then when someone like me's there, they just say, oh, that's just another shooter, right? So the best thing you can do is build value. Becoming a top world-class shooter takes a long time. To become a good promoter, spokesperson, ambassador, that doesn't take a long time. To become good at public speaking, to become good at presenting yourself, to become good at showcasing product does not take a long time. It does take a personality, but your goal
can be developed.
Yeah, if someone approaches me and majority of them come through email and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, here's my Instagram, what can I do to get free ammo? Like, that's no shit what the majority is. The ones that I have sponsored are, hi, my name's so-and-so, and this is what I can do for you. That's a big difference
It's a
because I already
big
know what I can
difference.
do. I know what I can do for them. And the
Mm-hmm.
reality is we don't always need them, right? But if they show me something different, so let's say your name's Little Johnny here, and you're looking at
Lil John.
a gun
Yeah.
manufacturer. Yeah, let's be competitive. It's a sport. Most of these companies have competitive within management. Let's say Atlas Gunworks. This is what I would do if I wanted to be on Atlas Gunworks. I would look at every single member of that team and I would find every single member's weakness. And I would see how I can be better or fill a void that is not presented
Yep.
within the sponsored shooters or whatever it is. And then I would approach that company, not saying, hey, you have a void, your guys suck at this. I would approach that company of this is something you need, this is what I can provide, this is what I can do. Because what happens most of the time when we're approached is someone says, oh, I've got 100,000 followers. I'm like, cool, I've already got all that covered, all right? Oh, I shoot these matches and place this. Okay, that's cool, but we've got that covered. What can you do? Where do you bring value that isn't already covered? So that's kind of
Mike,
my benefit.
Mike, I get great hand jobs. Just throw me on the team.
Yeah, you got knee pads.
Yeah, I
Got
can
pretty
crank those things out, bro.
if you want to approach someone, but I would recommend people approaching not as what can I get from the company, but what can I give to the company? What can I provide? Because if you're smart, you're not looking, no company is going to give you money right out the gate unless you're some big wig. But I will tell you, every company has the money to give you once you've proven that you're worth it. So
Yeah.
if you come out of the gate of give me, give me, give me, you're going to have a short stint, maybe a 1 year contract if you get a written contract. At the end of the year, they're like, all right, bye. I've always based it on, I've done deals within my own sponsorships where I took nothing for a whole year. And I've shown my extreme worth, and then there's my leverage for year two.
I've
There's,
done
hey,
that.
okay, we see what I can do. Let's talk about what we can do for a win-win situation. So,
I did that with a component company. I said, hey, um, I'm already buying your components. Give me, X, which wasn't much, and let me show you what I can do for a year. And, I added almost 17% to their year-end sales total in 1 year. And yeah, it's huge, right? When I came back for the contract negotiation, I said, what do you want to give me? And their answer was, whatever the fuck you want.
yeah. Well, yeah. Grady just said a good one. If you don't already use the product, don't even ask.
Exactly.
So,
Jesus Christ. I can't believe
this is
people
kind of
actually do that.
oh, it happens all the time, and a lot in the space you and I are in. I mean, not a lot of people can't afford, $5,000-6,000 guns.
Yep.
But the reality is, if you're not, the way I look at stuff is like, I want to support the products, the brands that I would support, even if I wasn't affiliated with them. So, like, even if, say, Atlas was like, buy Mike, I would still shoot Atlas, regardless. If I'd never been approached in 2018 or 19, whatever it was, I would have still been buying and shooting Atlas guns. So that's kind of we get that a lot, like, hey, I want it, but they've never tried our ammo. And I'm like, well, you just right now want free ammo because you can't find it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're serious about wanting a sponsorship, and there's multiple levels, understanding there's like affiliates, ambassadors, there's full sponsors, there's paid sponsors, there's influencers. Most companies have a structured tier, a stepping stone within them, and you're probably going to start on the bottom and show your worth and work your way up. But yeah, if you haven't tried the product or know the product or love the product, it's a hard ask because there's so many people out there to grab.
Yeah. Unless they approach you. If you don't use it and they approach you, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, send me something. I'll test it out. And if I like it, maybe. Right. But if you're using, I'll use a gun manufacturer. If you're using a Glock, don't go to a custom race gun manufacturer and be like, hey, let me shoot your guns for free. right? It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Go buy a Honda Civic and go to your local track and race for a couple of years and then go ask Ferrari for a seat. Like, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Unless you're just some dominant force out of nowhere.
So here's a tactic, because I get asked this all the time about like Atlas. Hey man, how did you become an Atlas sponsored shoe? I get asked that all the time. Mine was it was random. I wasn't planned. It was completely random. But a tactic I would use or have used to where, let's say you can't afford to buy an Atlas gun, but you want to get noticed, right? You want to get on Adam's radar, Morgan's radar, Mark, whoever. Make yourself presented, say, introduction. Hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm very interested in shooting for Atlas, but at this time I can't afford it. But I just want to let you guys know that I would love to shoot your products. Here's my USPSA number. Here's what I do. And be a consistent, not a naggy Nelly, but a consistent person. And then what I would do is I would see where James Tate, Trevor Cotter, Chase Raines, all these guys are shooting, and I would take my Glock and I would go beat them. That is the quickest way to get attention of a company of saying, like, look, I can't afford that, but here I am. My name's so-and-so, here I am, and I'm going to come shoot, and I'm going to show, like, I am worth it, to get your foot in the door to show that you mean business. Because companies like Atlas, they get approached nonstop. And there's a reason certain people are selected. But the biggest thing is the type of personalities a high-tier company want are high-tier personalities. So being that type of person, a winning mindset that's going to show return in the long run is the best way to go about it. If you're financially not able to go buy, an Atlas, it's okay, let me show you what I can do to show you that I'm worth it, either on the winning or in promotion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to beat me, but you can feel free to beat everybody else with your Glock.
Yeah.
Atlas does have financing options. Tyler, where's my PCC in the house? Oh, why do you have to come in and announce that you're gay right off the bat? Like, that's the problem with this world. You just got to come in and immediately announce that they're just gay. Just kidding. Badger,
hey guys, I'm here.
Don't.
Okay.
Yeah, hey guys, I have arrived. But all right, so I don't know how long you want to go. Like, when are you wanting to stop this thing? I know you're a busy guy.
Just keep asking. I've blocked this out just specifically for you. I had a stressful day, so I need this.
All right, perfect.
Eventually
so I got two questions. Both from Joe Farewell. Will you come shoot 3-gun with me? Answer is yes. What about you, Mike? Are you going to go shoot 3-gun with him?
Give me a shotgun and a rifle.
That's what I'm saying. I just need a shotgun, bro. I got the rifle.
I've shot 3-gun with Joe. We've shot a major together before when I was first, like 2018. I shot 3-gun before I shot USPSA. That's how I met Joe. That's how I met Sean Burrows and Alyssa.
That's how we talked about that.
Shooting 3-gun. So I would love to get back into 3-gun. 3-gun, if you want to become, and I got to be careful how I say this.
Ooh, all these 3-gunners are putting their ear to the speaker.
A shitty pistol shooter. If you want to become a shitty pistol shooter, go shoot 3-gun. Now, there are 3-gunners that are. Well, there's 3-gunners that are accepted. The reason I'm saying that is if my focus is on USPSA, it does me no good to shoot a lot of 3-gun. Now, 3-gun would excite me if they scored the targets.
Yep.
If it was, instead of, hey, hit anywhere on this huge brown target, I'd be much more excited. But I understand, due to the rule set and the time and the stage length, the reset time, it's not applicable. But I feel that I don't get excited on paper. Now, the 3-gun, there's so much more with the rifle, with the manipulations. There's so much other skill set stuff going on. And there's a few amazing pistol shooters. Joe's one of them.
Josh Fralick, Jerry Michalik.
There's some great, exceptional pistol shooters. But what I personally know, and why I say if you want to get shitty at shooting pistol, go shoot 3-gun, because I did both at the same time. And when I was pushing to be competitive in 3-gun, I had trouble separating when I went to USPSA and just wanted to hose and drop a lot of points.
Yeah.
So for me to go back into 3-gun, it's not going to be until I'm at an exceptionally high level USPSA where I not say get bored, but it's something I want to like dabble in, play with, just off-season fun. I feel 3-gun is dying personally. A lot of that is probably, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a party, and your personality would fit it perfectly. But due to the ammo stuff, it's kind of killing it right now. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm just going to shoot. I'm going to keep shooting my pistol. And that's coming from someone who has unlimited ammo, but I'll just keep shooting my pistol. Someday I'll go play in 3-gun because to me, it's more of a fun type thing. There's definitely competition to it for sure, but I have a hard time personally separating the two if I try to balance both. That'd probably be a better way to say
the other question.
Whoops.
The other question was, how do you keep your beard so beautiful? I can answer that for you. He bathes in the blood of his enemies.
This beard is a baby beard. Right now, which is funny because one of the companies I used to own was a cosmetics company. One of the big products was a beard line. I don't use anything in it. It's just naturally awesome. This is how it is. I got to shave every day and I just wake up like this. But
like I said, he bathes in the blood of his enemies. He wakes up in the morning, he shaves fresh, and then like he goes, and then poof, a beautiful beard pops out. That's how that goes. And then PCC isn't the gayest thing anymore. Steiner said so. Flashlights are the new gay. Nobody listens to Steiner. Does he even do a podcast anymore? Nobody knows.
Who? I don't know who that is anymore. Where's he?
Yeah, exactly. Who is that guy? I don't know. It's nobody important. Connor Freiberger says, hey, I feel like a decent pistol shooter. Yeah, you are. You're a decent pistol shooter. There's a lot of I watch your videos. There's your movement could increase your pistol game by 15% if you learned how to do it efficiently. And when I say movement, I don't just mean like from one place to the other. I mean like every moving piece of your pistol game, manipulations, trigger prep, everything. Every bit of it is a movement game. This game is 95% movement, 5% pulling a trigger. There's like, and even part of the pulling the trigger is movement, right? But you are a good pistol shooter. You just, you're a 3-gunner, so you automatically lose a bunch of shit. Tyler said I'm trash with a pistol. I mean, you don't have to like announce it.
There is a lot of good. The way I look at it is some of the best 3-gunners were amazing pistol shooters that got into 3-gun.
Yeah.
There are some amazing 3-gunners that come into pistol that are good, but they would be a liar if they told you that they could shoot at the same rate of speed and everything that they do in 3-gun.
Oh, for sure. If you go into a USPSA match like it's a 3-gun match, you're gonna lose. And that's just is what it is. Oh, we're bringing the puppies in?
I guess.
Just one.
You shit on me earlier.
Oh, yeah. Look at that little monster.
He's like 40. How much do you weigh?
42 pounds.
42 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
How old is that thing?
I think he's now 5 months old. This is Odin. He's chill, relaxed, just wants to lay and snuggle all day. Loki, he's like if you put a lab in a bulldog, like they're supposed to be mellow and he's insane. He just nonstop goes, but Odin, little Supervel shop down. Right, you want to take him back and leave him up here?
I saw the puppy comments.
Oh, you saw puppy comments? We don't read comments, we just rant.
We just rant and rave. All right, so I got something that I've been doing with people that I think me and you will have a blast with. Hold on. Connor said, oh, yeah, definitely. I'm really behind overall with like actual movement because my shins have stress fractures, which is annoying as fuck. Well, rehab those shins, bro. Your body is important, man. Like, people don't realize, like, your body's a machine. You got to take care of it. Like, I mean, you got to work out. You got to eat right. You got to, like, stretch, do yoga. Like, They're like, I spent a lot of time on rehab, bro. Like I have what's up?
Until you break stuff, you don't realize how important your body is.
Yeah, dude. Like I spent 5 Gs on a it's a infrared sauna suit, right? Like from the neck down, I'm sitting in an infrared like sauna suit, and it helps with blood circulation, muscle rehabilitation, tendon strains. Like it helps with so much shit, right? And it's a big investment, but it's worth it, right? I have a specific machine that I literally stick my feet in and press a button, and that them shits like literally massage every single piece of your foot like it's like somebody's sitting there with a nail and a hammer. Like it's the most roughest shit ever. But when I pull my feet out the next morning, it feels great, right? Like I spent a lot of time on rehabbing my body, because your body is a machine. It's like your gun, right? If you shoot it for 80,000 rounds and never clean it and never take care of it, it's going to fucking break.
Yeah. Like me.
Yeah, like you. You spend a lot of time. I mean, you're a pretty healthy guy.
That machine was prescribed for your ED though, right?
For my that's exact for my I have really bad ED. It is what it is.
That blood flow, circulation, and healing.
Somebody said, what are your recommendations for getting better in USPSA as a new shooter? Would you tell new guys to shoot single stack to become more efficient first, or start in limited? Start with whatever you have. Start in the division with the gun you have.
Don't go buy stuff. Just spend your money on
ammo and
instructor,
training.
Ammo and training, and use the gun, the equipment that you have, until you get to it. No one, and we have shooters that'll tell you this, like rarely can someone say the equipment is holding them back, unless there's like a physical reason that something's not working the right way. You can look at dudes like Holy running a Glock or Vogel running a Glock. It's proven like, hey, you can get stuff done with. Now, is it a lot harder? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it can be done.
There's so much growth to be made in like dry fire. Like Ben Stager, when he made GM, he did it on like 5,000 rounds or less.
Yeah.
Right. But that's hours of dry fire. So if you're
thousands of hours of dry fire.
Yeah. If you're a new shooter starting, dry fire gun. Elias Frangolis, when he was a professional soccer player, like Greece, injured, got into shooting. He dry fired 8 hours a day and made GM in like 6 months.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. And he'll tell you that was way too much. He didn't need that much dry fire. If I could go back, and when I started in this sport, is I would have spent the time and money initially. I would have saved and put that into getting trained by JJ, Max Michel, Ben Stager. I would have done more mental management. I would have probably one of the first things I would have done is invest in learning about the mental side of the sport, because that's probably one of the longest growing. Skill set can be built quick, but the mental side takes time and experience.
Laney Basham's with winning in mind. That's a great investment.
Understanding the mental side, like building that foundation for long term. If the difference between an A class, M class, and a GM is up here, it's not 100%. A skill. Skills are there, but most master class can perform the base skill level as a top GM, but the difference is a top GM has the mindset to do it 10 out of 10 times under pressure. That's not a shooting thing. That's a mindset.
It's a mental thing. That's what separates me from JJ and Christian is I have the physical ability. I have the ability to go and shoot as good, if not sometimes faster than those guys. I beat them on stages, but they have the mental fortitude and the maturity mentally and just the sheer just experience to do it 10 out of 10 times all the time perfectly. Not that they're better at it than me. They're just more mentally apt to doing it than I am.
Yeah, learning. So on that note of like, we'll say like JJ, understand too, when those guys are at a match performance, they're operating in execution mode, which your 100% might get them on a stage or two where you've pushed past and connected, which we've all happened. We watch those guys, we're like, oh man, that's crazy, but understand that's dialed back.
Yep.
That's like 90% because that's what they can do for 21 stages straight. That's a big mental thing to learn. It's like you don't have to win every stage. You just can't dumpster a stage.
Yeah.
So you have to be top 5, top 10 for all the stages. And there's guys who have won national titles without winning a stage.
Yep. It happens all the time.
Based on consistent placement. And that's the hardest thing to learn is when to play with that dial, where to play with that dial, and accept that, like, hey, man, I don't have to be the best on every stage. I just need to be consistent over every stage.
Yeah.
That's one of the most frustrating things is I'll shoot against guys and I'll like wax them on the stage by 20%, and then I'll do it three out of 12 stages, just murder them, but they'll beat me because they just did okay, and I had one dumpster. Right, you're riding on that edge. I learned that luckily early on. I don't do it as much now, but
yeah, that was my biggest focus for this season was dialing it back and flatlining.
Mason Lane has a very good explanation you can find on YouTube, and it's called Finding 100. I would highly recommend if you're a new shooter, it's not as big of a deal, but if you're scaling up and taking shooting seriously, is understanding what your 100 is and your execution mode based on your current level of skill. That's what's going to win matches. It's operating within that window that feels really slow, but is what you can do with your current level of skill. That's what's going to leave you the most satisfied because you operated, performed at your best for your current ability. You didn't get lucky. You didn't make mistakes. You just operated. But he has a method of analytically tracking and doing a series of drills to find what your true operating, your 100 is and where to place within that. So I would recommend any shooter like learning those methods and where to be and how to throttle and where to play with that. But
yeah, Connor said, how do I rehab my shins? Dude, I am not a physical therapist. I pay a physical therapist full time for that. Yeah, ice it, and then they actually have these like leg wrap things that use cold water to massage and push blood through, and then just stop being a pussy. It's basically the best way.
I don't know if he's getting like shin splints or running, but most like major cities have like running stores. So like the shoes I wear, because my back's so jacked, go to like a legit actual running store where they'll watch your stride, they'll watch if you're pronating or supinating. They can't. You put your foot.
That's the best investment, dude.
And then they'll get you a shoe, because usually a shin splint type, it's someone's running and how they're striking when they're running, and they're getting all that impact. So getting quality shoes
is huge.
One of the biggest things.
Yeah, like I have extremely high arches, and I run on the balls of my feet. I even walk mostly on the balls of my feet. So I'm prone to shin splints as well. So Connor, what I did is I went and got my feet figured out. And then now all the shoes that I own, I have a specific insole that I put in all of them, and that just is what it is. Even my shooting shoes have a specific insole because, like I said, your body is a machine. Like your body's more important than a gun. Invest more money in yourself than you are on the newest, baddest dot, right? Like invest in how well you take care of yourself, your training and ammo and just all that more than I would worry about stuff like that. Yeah, he wears high heels at home. I do. That's what gives me shin splints. Hey, man, it's dress up night at the Cotter house tonight, okay? I'm the maid. My wife is the angry owner. I didn't do a good job. She's going to punish me. All right, so I've been doing this with a lot of people, and I some of the last couple of guests I've had aren't really keen to the sport as far as like different people and who's competitive and what. But we're going to do the top picks for nationals to win nationals, right? We're going to start with low cap divisions, and then we'll get into high cap divisions. But we're going to find out who you think is going to win, or even if you think who's going to be the 1, 2, 3, just kind of give me who you think. So this is a fun one because it kind of, it kind of shows who you think is actually the fucking man, right? So let's start with, Josh said best part of the show. This always gets interesting, dude, because you're like me. You're friends with a lot of these people, so you're like, I don't want to shit on someone, right? I want to say it's my buddy's time to shine. I'll shit on anyone. I'll shit on my face. I don't care.
Yeah. if they're friends with me, they'll know I'll take a hot steamer right on their chest.
Yeah. I have enough respect for my friends to not blow smoke up their ass. If I think somebody's going to kick the shit out of them, I'm going to tell them. So, you ready for this? All right.
Yeah. I think I know most of the divisions, but some of the low cap I don't follow too much, but go ahead.
We're not going to do revolver because nobody gives a shit about revolver. But we'll do limited. We'll start with single stack. You know the division very well. Who do you think is going to win single stack?
Depends who shoots it. So I love Mike Stoker. I'd love to see him win. He took second last year. Single stack really depends on how the match is built. 2019 was Nils won, and it was much more movement, long course, pissed up boomers off. 2020 was short course. Robbie won.
Boomer happy, yeah.
Boomer happy. If Blake Miguez shoots it, Blake will win it. Blake Miguez doesn't shoot it, Tim Herron will win.
Yes. All right. We're the same on this. That was my pick. I think if Blake doesn't show up, if Blake Nils don't show up, I think Tim's going to win because he did just dominate Rob Latham at Area 2. But I don't think Nils will shoot because Canik, right?
I think he didn't shoot last year. Even if he does, I would still put Blake and Tim. I think that's really the ones for me, just based on what I see.
Yeah. I'm on that train. All right, so next one, limited 10. Keep in mind, you're not shooting limited 10, right?
No, I'm not an idiot.
Okay, I am. Me and Christian are gonna go. One of us is gonna win with an Atlas. It's just gonna happen. So I'm shooting limited 10. Just keep that in mind. No, keep it in mind.
Here's where I'm at with limited. It depends who's shooting. If I don't know, if the young boy, even though he shoots for infinity, if he shoots limited 10, I haven't talked to him. I don't know. You had him on the podcast. I don't know if
who are you talking about? Gianni?
Yeah.
I don't think he's shooting limited 10.
Okay. He would be my pick to win. If Gianni's not shooting limited 10, then it's, to me, between Christian and Blake if Blake shoots it. And usually Blake has been.
Yeah.
So
Blake's a has-been? Is that what you said? Blake's a has-been?
He has been shooting.
How dare you, sir?
Insulting me. Yeah.
I'm going to clip this as the story.
Yeah. Just take a look. Joe Rogan me. Just splice out what I said.
Yeah.
Christian, I'm watching Christian run the Artemis like it's an open gun, and I see that, but he's got to reload. So I think Christian. I'll say Christian will win limited 10, and that'll be all he'll win. But he'll win limited 10.
My wife just asked, "Am I allowed to blend the tomato sauce, or will it be too loud?" Blend it, honey.
With your hand.
Yeah. No. So I don't know. I'm watching Christian shoot that gun, and I'm like, holy shit, right? Like he's running it like an open gun. It's pretty impressive. But
he's not doing 2 rounds though right now. He's running it like limited.
That changes a lot.
It does. People don't understand that unless you shoot limited or you shoot single stack or production. It makes a big difference. But I still think.
I'd be lying to you. Go ahead.
Christian will be up there. I got to see who else is really shooting it. I think if like Blake shoots it, I know you're shooting it, but you also shoot an open gun all the time. You don't reload all the time. So
I've been playing with a lot of it limited 10 now.
Oh, that's good. If Blake Miguez does, then that's a pull for him as well because he shoots low cap often. But I really don't care about who wins that one, to be truthful.
I do because I'm shooting it, right?
Yeah. I hope Trevor Cotter wins when the top 10 get killed in the parking lot.
Oh, fuck you. No. All right. So I'm going into limited to nationals with the mentality that I shoot open mainly, right? And I refuse to dedicate like I am not going to be that guy that dedicates a couple months prior to that nationals to it, because if I win limited 10 nats, it's like awesome, right? But if I don't, I really don't give a fuck.
Like, yeah, it's one of those. That's why I think limited 10 should disappear personally, because it's a division that people shoot because they're bored, or they shoot in prep. Like usually they put it with single stack, and so shooters would show up, shoot limited 10 to get serious for single stack, or vice versa. It's like a partnered. If they put an L10 nap alone, no one would shoot it.
Nobody would.
Right?
No.
Like last year, they had single stack. So I flew all the way to Talladega, shot single stack. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you going to stay and shoot limited 10?" I'm like, "No, it's not worth the ammo. Bye. I'm flying home."
See you later.
That, yeah, it's a to me limited 10. I don't understand that division. So next, but I'll just say Christian.
Yeah. The safe bet would be Christian or Blake Maguez. I am also thinking Hyder's going to shoot limited 10, and Hyder's a beast.
If Blake shoots it, I'll say Blake. I don't know if Blake's shooting it, though. If he does, I would go with Blake first.
I would think that'd be a safe bet. I am going to vote for myself only because I'm hopeful of myself. But if I don't win, I'm hoping and thinking that it's going to be Blake or Christian, one of the two. If Blake shows up, I think Blake edges Christian just because he's got so much talent in low cap, and that's not Christian's division. But Christian also has been known to just crush people's souls.
Everyone's saying Ben. Ben's not shooting. I don't think Ben's going to shoot nationals.
I don't think so. I think Ben's done with USPSA altogether. I don't really know. Until Mike Foley and that board of directors are out of there, I think Ben's just deucing out to that whole thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, production.
Mason Lane. Here's what one. Mason is prepping for Worlds, so he's seriously shooting production. He's probably, I would bet that he's not going to shoot limited this year.
No.
He's too close to Worlds, and he's going to stay in production. So Ben, even if Ben shoots, Mason's going to beat him. That's my honest feeling is Mason Lane will win production this year, regardless of who shoots it.
Yeah. Somebody said he hates USPSA. Yeah.
Unless he breaks his arm.
Yeah, which is a possibility. So I love Mason, and I think he's a monster. I think he's got a hell of a chance. I think if this person doesn't win, he will win. But I'm pretty sure JJ is going to dominate.
JJ shooting production? Because Beretta.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not paying too much attention to it.
Think about this, man. The only person that has a chance of beating Ben every time he shows up is JJ, and the only person that has a chance of beating JJ every time he shows up is Ben in production. Like they're the two. They're on that next level. You know what I mean?
I totally spaced that JJ was shooting, and I've practiced with JJ with his production gun, so I should know better. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that was happening. I don't know. I should have. It's Beretta sponsored, obviously.
Yeah, it's the Beretta Low Cap Nationals. You think that Beretta's not going to send their golden Filipino boy down there?
Yeah, we'll say JJ with a close second of Mason.
Yeah.
That's where I'm putting it.
I think it's going to be JJ, and I think the top three is going to – the other two in the top three is either going to be Mason Lane, Nils Jonasson, or oh my God, Jacob Hetherington. Almost just spaced on Jacob's name. Jacob's a monster.
I think Jacob, Nils, and Mason will be within stacked into each other.
Yeah, I think you're going to have JJ and then like 1.5%, and then them two separating by 1%.
Yeah, because last year, Mason, what did he finish of Jacob? Within, it was 99 point. It was a delta somewhere.
It was like a delta.
Very, very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. JJ.
Yeah. All right. So Yeah. So is that all the people are giving Nils some love? And I love Nils. He's the athletic giraffe. Nils is my boy. Like, I love Nils to death. I shot Nat. He let me cry on his ginormous shoulders. I had to stand on a chair to do it all through nationals when I was eating a shit sandwich. So Nils is my boy. But and like I said, man, I think Nils, Hetherington, and Mason are gonna fight for a hard-fought second place, but I think JJ is just going to take it. Nils has been known to just come out of nowhere, though, dude. Like, he has been known to, like, know everybody doesn't even talk about him, and then he shows up and just fucking destroys. He's one of the most underrated shooters of all time. So is that all the low-cap divisions? I think so. We did production, we did limited 10, we did single stack. Nobody gives a fuck about revolver. That's all of them. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to high cap. So we'll start with the redheaded stepchild, the gayest of them all in PCC. You think Leah Grandis again?
Yeah, I mean, that's not even worth the discussion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Josh has come close second quite a few times, but
every time.
Max is just I get to shoot with Max often. And he's just on like a different level. I know that if Grady would get his ass to the range and compete, I would put a heavy into Grady. But the difference, I've never seen where Grady's laying nationally. The hard thing with Max is like, it's with both Maxes why they haven't lost. It's winning a nationals or winning something major is a big deal one time. To do it again, but then once you've done it like 5 times straight, like it's now just like him but tying his shoes.
It's the Tom Brady effect.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's expected, and they know exactly the mindset, the mentality, what to do. I wish Grady would shoot more because skill set wise, I could see, like if we looked at national ranking with, I won't say international, but national ranking with PCC, I could easily see a battle between the way Grady shoots and with Max, just purely based on watching him.
I've said this many times. Max is going to win.
Why doesn't Grady shoot? What's the deal? He has a job. I mean, that's overrated.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going to go with this. Is Max is going to win. The only reason Max is going to win is because Grady does not have a chance to train like Max does. If Grady was able to practice as much as I do, I think Grady would beat Max by a couple percent. I really do. I think Grady's that fast. He's that accurate. He's that efficient. He's that just fucking talented. But he's got a baseball team of kids. Just kidding. He's only got 2, but he's got kids and a wife and a full-time job, and his wife has a full-time job, and they split time between that, and they have to watch the kids back and forth. I mean, he's got a full life, and, his priority is his kids and his wife, and rightfully so. That's how it should be. And he's also got a job that makes him work a shit ton, and he doesn't get a whole lot of weekends off. So he just can't, he can't dedicate the time to it. But if he could, Grady could win Nats. No problem. I honestly think that. And I think Max knows that, because Max has shot against Grady before when Grady was coming off of practicing 200 rounds for the last 6 months, and Grady just decides, hey, I'm going to show up and shoot today, and he shoots like 3% of Max, and Max is like, who the fuck is this guy?
Well, I think it would be nice to see same thing needs to happen in carry optics, but there's not really a threat for the top. So right now, like Max, he has a lot of room, I think, to go up or down, but a lot of personal growth as a shooter is based on who's right below you.
Yeah.
And he's gapped and done it to where it's like, okay, like I would love for Grady to be there to push up and down with him. So it was a challenge. Same thing like carry optics. I'm like, we need to get some top dudes up there threatening Max. Because I feel like Max is like, all right, here we go. Like it's in the bag.
Bro,
no one questions it.
Bro, you saw it this year, dude. After the first day, he was down, wasn't he? He was like 8% down. And then he comes into this, like, he just wasn't taking it serious because he's like, oh, here's my 19th nationals in a row. Here we go. These guys are fucking shit. And then he starts making mistakes, and then he sees that he's down, and he's like, oh, fuck, I got to make up, 6 or some odd percent. And then the next day he's up by 4%. And then he ends nationals up by like 4.5. Like, he just goes, oh, yeah, hey, maybe I should take this seriously. Hadoosh, I'm going to fucking destroy everyone. And then that's what it is,
Jay Beal. I will say Jay Beal, more not on character. Let's finish PCC. We'll talk about character.
Yeah. But
PCC, I'm going with Max. I wish Grady, we need to start his OnlyFans. Let's get a GoFundMe going. Whatever it takes to get Grady training and doing it.
Yeah. I think we should start a GoFundMe for Grady's shooting. But yeah, let's move on to carry optics. Fuck it. We're already talking about it.
Yeah, so Max, for me, it's Max. Second place will be Jay Beal. I think Jay within, because he's young, I think he's 24, 25. I think he's your age. So
Jay Beal my age?
Yeah.
Fuck, he looks old.
26. I think he's up in Vermont. The dude's a freaking animal, dude.
He is an animal.
Mindset, I mean, the amount of dry fire, what he's doing right now, or what he has been doing, and how quickly so last year, he's only shot 2 majors. He shot Area 7, and then he shot Nationals, and he took 4th. Right? 4th or 5th at Nats.
Something like that.
And the kid's only been shooting, like 2018 he started, and in 2017, 2018, dry fires like 2 hours a day. He's only shooting, I was listening to him on one of the podcasts, he's like, he'll shoot he shoots every day, but like 20 rounds a day. But then he dry fires for like 2 hours. Very interesting concept on his training regimen, but I think he's that kid that's like a geek nerd about the dry fire and the process. He's very process oriented, not outcome, where he doesn't know how good he is or can be. Can you break the iron mind of Max Michel? Probably not. But no. I feel this year he'll be top 3, and next year he'll be top 2 and start fighting with Max pretty soon. Hopefully, because we need someone to challenge Max to make it more exciting.
Let me tell you a story about the mindset of Max Michel. Personal experience of mine. And this is when like I knew he was like one of the greats, right? But this is the moment where I was like, this is the fucking GOAT, right? Like, this is the GOAT. Like, Eric Graffel obviously is the greatest shooter ever to pick up a handgun. But when it comes to U.S. shooters, Max is the GOAT. And let me tell you why. I'm taking a Max class, right? And I'm shooting open, and I'm a decent open shooter. Like, I don't, I'm not JJ, I'm not Christian, whatever. But out of the top echelon of shooters, I think I'm up there, right? And I'm taking Max's class, and this was like beginning of last season. We're shooting a drill towards the end of the class, and keep in mind I've been shooting all day, so I am primed, right? Like, I am in it mentally, I'm physically there. Like, I've been shooting probably 700 rounds. I'm fucking primed, right? He's maybe shot 50. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't shoot a lot in his classes. He'll demonstrate things like once and then say, okay, and then he'll just work you through it, right? So he wasn't shooting a whole lot. So cold, we're shooting the final drill of his class, which is just kind of to say, okay, can you put it all together? And everyone's shooting, and they're shooting it like, some people shooting it like, 9 seconds. Some people shooting it like 8 seconds. Some people are dipping into the 7s, and then I shoot it, and I shoot like a 450, like quick as fuck. And it was all alphas. And I was like, yeah, daddy's here, bro. Like, who's your papa? This guy, right? So then Max is like, that was freaking spicy. Like, he's like, holy shit, He's like, I don't know if I could do that. And I'm like, well, let's see it. And he's like, all right, I guess. He walks up, and he like, does his whole make ready and everything. And I could see the fucking light switch flip, right? I saw it. He went from like, holy hell, that was cool. Like, awesome. I'm glad one of my students did this. And then he just goes into like attack mode. I watched his eyes roll back in his head, and I watched him just lock in, and he goes and
from a skill challenge.
Not even a warm up, bro. He just slays it like a 360, all alphas. And I'm talking alphas, bro, like touching alphas, like a 360. Beat me by a second on a stage that there shouldn't have been a second to beat me on. Like, and I was just like, you have got to be shitting me. And he does it, and then he turns around and he's like, how was that? I'm like, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? That's when I knew, like, this is a different animal you're dealing with. Like, you see really good shooters, and there are shooters like Christian and guys like that who are just, they're so talented, right? But they're not. They're not.
But that's the time. Because Max early in his career was Christian, right?
Exactly.
When Max, I think the biggest thing, like with Max, which I want to get more into, is Steel Challenge and the pressure and the execution of Steel Challenge, plus the amount of world shoots and national titles, to where when we say like the Tom Brady effect, or like you could say LeBron or Michael Jordan, whatever you're into, is a lot of people share the same skill set or maybe even better that they can do once. But the difference is being able to go, okay, boop, and then do it like a damn robot, just like Gerfel, like a machine thing. And that's,
they live in that.
When you've done that at that level for 20 years straight, you can be at practice and turn it on. You can be at a local match and turn it on. Just like we saw him at Nationals, just day one, okay. Oh, okay. We have a challenge. Bloop, robot mode, you're all dead. Like, that's just
like down
like
by
that's
like
the goal
8%.
Yeah, in the mental game, like that to me is like not a flex, but that's like, I want to be at the point where I can just play with that dial. Like, I got 6 speeds and I'm like, all right, this is fun. All right, cool, boom, and then just the goal is to hit that 100 or whatever without going over, and that's what they do so well. It's like he knows where that tick is just to hit it and execute, and there's not an excuse. I've never heard Max
ever.
I mean, he's like, hey, this happened, this is why, and it's process oriented, and this is what I should have done, and this is the fix for it. I've never heard him complain about shit. It's always very analytical machine. And if you look at the top guys, the closest mindset I relate would be Eric. Very calculated out, not always the best he can do, but the best it needs to be to get it done to win. And it's just like understanding that mindset of it is purely based on all that experience, all those nationals, all those from a very young age of pressure. And it's like, God, how do we get there? But that's why, to me,
beautiful.
When someone's skill set can challenge Max's skill set, it's not going to be handed over easily, because Max has the mindset to turn it. So carry optics, Max.
Yeah. Max has the mindset of a GOAT. You know, there's the mindset of a winner, and then there's the mindset of the greatest, right?
Jordan mindset. Like, it's like, it's a daily, like, no, this is what it is.
Yeah, it's a Mamba mentality.
It's not like, hey, I'm the best there is. It's like, no, I know. He doesn't talk about it because he is about it. Like, all right, cool. Yeah. Don't talk about it, do about it. But Max is probably the nicest. He's a solid dude. Like,
oh yeah, I've spent a lot of time with him. I talk to him a lot. Like, you know, I'm sure he just considers me like just another dude that like talks to him. But I think he's a really friendly guy. Like, I like him a lot. And like, I've had a lot of moments where I'm like, man, that was incredible. And then he's just like, it's just another day. You know what I mean? Like that, when that happened, you could feel it. You could feel the electricity in the air. You could feel the mood shift. You could feel everything just dial in. And it was just like, what the fuck? Right? Like, yeah, my pants got tight. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Call it what you will, dude. Max is the GOAT for real. Like, Max and Eric, those are two different type of machines. I think JJ is the same way. I think JJ is in that same thing, you know. Rob versus Max is like Jordan versus LeBron. No, I think Max is on a different level than Rob. I think Rob did some amazing things in a time that wasn't the same era as Max. It's a different era. I think
you can't compare LeBron and Jordan due to era. You can't compare Max and Rob due to era.
Yeah.
It's a different style of shooting, different. Everything 100%. Was different.
100%.
10 years ago, everything was different.
Yeah. Somebody talked about my hairline. Is it nice? I can't tell. This is a nice hairline.
About to hit it with a flip, do a kick flip off the front of that bitch.
I know, right? Yoink. All right, so let's go. We did. Let's do limited.
Limited. Let's see. Trying to think who I was going to shoot limited.
Can't pick
I like
yourself.
Huh?
Can't pick yourself.
Yeah. Besides myself.
Yeah, because I know you. I know in your head you're going, fucking me, right? I'm the same way.
I'm like, who's going to take second?
Yeah, that's I'm Larry Bird walking into a 3-point contest. Which one of you motherfuckers is coming in second?
I know who I want to win, but this year's not, I don't know, just due to his schedule. And that's always Chris Culpepper to me, always.
Culpepper, yeah.
But with his training schedule and with everything, I don't know if this year will definitely isn't going to be a deer, in my opinion. Limited this year, I think, is going to be because so many guys that would shoot limited because of world, they're not going to play with it because they're focusing on world shoot.
Yeah.
So I don't think Mason's probably not going to shoot it. This is a hard one. Probably because the division I'm in.
I know.
I like Gianni in it.
He was my pick last year, but he was just a little too young to be in the super squad. I don't want to say he was too young. He wasn't prepared mentally for that.
The best thing for him this year, I don't think he is this year, right?
He's shooting with me. Yeah, he's going to shoot in my squad, which you should too.
So, well, when's the registration going to open?
I don't know. When it does, we're all going to make our own super squad. Fuck them.
Tell me so I don't miss it. I miss shit all the time.
Chase is my scheduler. Chase just calls me. Is like, sign up's in 5 minutes, and I'm like, fuck. And
Yeah, I had someone else in mind because I was thinking about this earlier today because I know you're going to ask me. I'm kind of going back and forth. Like I really want to see Cody preparing for World Shoot, but I also know he's having a baby, so his training schedule is also going to be affected.
Yeah.
Which is sad because it's a World Shoot year. If World Shoot happens, if World Shoot gets canceled, that's going to change a whole lot of things because then a lot of other guys will shoot it.
Yeah.
I'm on a fight right now between Shane and Gianni. I don't know what about that kid, why I want him to win, but I'm going to go with Shane this year because 2017 World Shoot and World Shoot this year, and I feel like it's like he's putting it in. Shane, to me, there's certain guys like, and maybe because I'm this way, when I'm putting in the most work, you don't hear about it. When I'm training the most, you don't hear about it. When I'm bored, you hear about it because I ain't got shit to do and I want to post about it. But when it's like, and Shane to me is like, it's like LeBron in the playoffs. Like just radio silence, like you don't know what's going on, but that motherfucker's putting it in. And so I think I'm going to give what did Shane finish? He was second last year?
Third. He was John Browning.
Oh, yeah.
Because originally we thought John Browning had won and Shane was second, right? That's how we thought it. And so I was literally congratulating John Browning when he found out he didn't actually win. It was kind of shitty. I was like, well, he's going to hate me for the rest of my life.
Because Mason shot
on a separate squad. Yeah.
Now I'm going to go with Shane.
Yeah. So
I would love for Shane to win or Gianni, but I think due to experience and because it's a World Shoot year, and just like the mindset with Max, I don't know if Shane has that same, but Shane's been doing it for so long, and it's locked and dialed in.
Shane's a killer, bro. Shane's a killer.
Yeah, no, that's what I think. I'm gonna go with Shane this year.
Yeah. So I last time I did this, I didn't pick the person that I'm gonna pick, and circumstances changed. Right. I've had conversations. I've talked to different people I've seen and due to what you said, like a lot of people ask me all the time, like, hey, why don't you post as one? Like people know I go to the range 4 or 5 times a week, right? People know I'm always training. I'm constantly on it. But the same thing, like when I'm working the most is when I'm like right? Like when I go to the range and I'm deep in a practice session, the last thing I think about is to get my phone out and record shit. You know what I mean? I just don't. And when I'm dry firing, the last thing I think is to record. I'm terrible about it, right? But just know if my Instagram's silent, right, during the week, I'm fucking busy, right? And I had a conversation with Shane last week, and dude, he's on a different fucking stratosphere of how hard that dude's working. He is working so hard. He's putting in time. He's putting more time in the gym, more time in his footwork, his explosiveness. He's putting more time into his gun manipulations and his gun movement. Dude, so yeah, he's prepping.
So any top guys that are prepping for Worlds, not just like having to shoot Nationals, their mind is so different. They're going to blow through, not take Worlds, or Nationals for granted, but it's a different preparation this year.
100%.
Based on repetition. And the dudes at it, like Shane, that's been doing it since he was, 13 or whatever?
Yeah.
What is he now, 16, 18 years in?
He's like 18 years into this game.
Now, if he's this year, let's say last year he put 50,000 rounds, whatever. This year, because Worlds, he's probably putting 100,000 rounds. He's hitting the gym harder, and he's a different animal with how close he was last year. This year, I think last year, the cancellation of Worlds had a letdown and affected a lot of placement because people were like, you build that ramp up in sports, you build that ramp up, and then it gets canceled. You're like, fuck it. And I feel like top athletes that operate on that mindset, in an extremely competitive mentality, it's a lot to be in that mindset.
Yeah.
And when you're wound in that mindset, it's a lot of not stress, but it's very mentally consuming.
Yeah.
And I feel like that release, when it got canceled, it was like, deflate, okay, let's look past. And the Nationals was like an afterthought, right?
It was like a consolation event.
This year, to me, Nationals is not a flex for Worlds, but it's definitely a mind game. So the reason Eric comes every World shoot is to be like, here's my big dick, and here's what I'm about to do when you guys come shoot Worlds.
Yep.
That's what happened.
That's why
we all know.
That's why Eric comes to the U.S. during World Shoot years, is to go, hey, by the way, I'm still your daddy.
Yeah, so back to Shane, I feel he's so focused on Worlds, and I hope Worlds doesn't get canceled, that it's going to be like, no, don't, like, I'm here. I'm going for Worlds, and this is like a kind of a statement. I feel like he doesn't get, not to say credit, but there's so much movement, and especially in limited, like the top guys, there's a lot of movement in the division. In open, like we've had Christian, right? Carry optics, you've had Max. But limited, the top, between Browning, between Nils, between Mason, if JJ shoots limited, there's so much shuffling in limited.
There's 10 to 15 guys that can always win limited nights.
That can win it every year.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is there's only one or two guys that's top 3 to 4 every year. And that's Shane. Every fucking year. A lot of these
he's never out of the top 5.
A lot of these dudes bounce in, bounce out, and I think with Shane, like with Worlds coming, he's like, all right. So he's definitely, I think him and I don't know Shane really close. We have similar interests in CrossFit and our movements. I pattern a lot of, like, when I started competing, he's who I watched with movement. That's what changed my base to low, and my style of shooting is I pattern a lot after him, and like watching him shoot, and I can see like his mindset with stuff he does post and what he's doing. I'm like, okay, like this dude's just like clicked in, and he's just gonna be about it, and we'll see. I'm excited. I think Shane's gonna do it though.
Yeah, he is. I think Shane's my pick. My pick if Shane doesn't win is either you or Cody Axon. I think Cody has a good shot. I can't remember. He was up there though. He was in the business. I want to say he was like sixth or 8th or something.
Yeah, I think
he was up there. He may have.
The thing with Cody, I gotta say, I mean, he's on my team, right? Cody, the thing I love about Cody watching him shoot, the first time I watched shoot was Area 3, is like, he's the type, like, there's no it's just like, this is what I'm doing. Like, he just does it. It's not like,
There's
burn
no
it down.
frills.
It's just like, do it. Consistency.
Yeah. He's a fucking diesel truck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely is.
Yeah.
Solid
He's always going to fucking start up. He's always going to get to the end of the job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
He's not going to go
I
1,000 miles an hour while doing it, but he's going to fucking get there.
Yeah. No, I would absolutely love for Cody to win. That's like my heart pick.
Yeah.
But mine pick is like Shane's like the other dudes I don't know well enough. I don't track well enough to like put something to it. But I look at what's been done the last 8 years. I'm like, all right, Shane, like you're there every year, doing it every year, and we're on a world shoot, and yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shane's on another plane of existence right now. And after having that conversation with him, I was like, oh fuck, this is a different animal.
That's funny that I picked up on it and you talked to him about it, because I immediately was like, yep. And you're like, yeah, I just talked and that's what it is. Cause
yeah. I literally had a conversation with him. Literally, I think it was, I think it was Friday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. So I was like,
yeah.
Okay, this is not the Shane that was shooting last year.
There's a lot of noise, and especially with social media nowadays, there's so much noise going on. And so you can tell like certain competitors, like when they switch on, like they're in, and there's a different, I mean, guys like that, you can see everywhere, there's a pattern, you can see personality, and like, all right, something's different. Like this dude's like, he's dialed in. How old is he, 30, 29? I think he's almost 30.
Yeah, he may be, yeah. I don't know. Motherfucker looks 26. Motherfucker looks my age, but
well, just based on the amount of time he's been shooting, I gotta think he's up almost 30 now.
Yeah, I think he's probably 30, 32, somewhere in there. Just because he's been shooting for like 18 years.
Yeah. I would love to see.
Right.
I mean, there's a couple guys. It's hard for me. All right, what's next?
All right,
assuming
Eric Graffel shows up for Open, I'm going to go ahead and say Eric Graffel just because I don't see anyone else beating him. It just is what it is. But I don't know if you think that same way, but
because of COVID, that might not happen though.
I don't know, man. Maybe. All right, assuming Eric does not show, who wins Open?
If Eric doesn't show?
Yeah, I know you're going to be tempted to say me just because I'm such a bad motherfucker. But
no, assuming aside from you, because
you can't pick each other because I'm the host, you're the guest. It'd just be rude. So pick someone else.
100% JJ. I don't see JJ losing 3 times. I think the first one was like a poke, like oh shit. The second one was like kicking the nuts, and now back to the same thing of like Shane. These dudes that have been doing it since they were 8 years old walking. There's a different beast, and maybe it took like, hey, that's a wake up, and I feel JJ for living and traveling and teaching and coaching, does a lot of stuff, but I've
never seen a more motivated JJ.
Yeah, basically like on the same boat of last year hurt me to watch and talk to him because it's like if you take stage 8 and that shit out of there, he won. Like, that's what I see that, right? And not to knock, dude's running a Beretta, and it's that close and that stage, and I'm like, it's right there, right? It's right there, and that was a new gun, new setup, new things figuring out on limited time. Now he has time in on it, and he's very crazy motivated. And I don't think he's crazy motivated as much to prove in nationals, but also worlds, because you got Eric over here getting fucking shredded.
Fucking shredded, dude. He is
just doing crazy shit that you shouldn't be doing with a pistol.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of baiting both ways, and I feel the vibe I get, like with Shane, I get that same vibe with JJ.
Yeah.
And I don't see how, unless something crazy unfortunate happened this year, I don't see how JJ loses.
Yeah.
To be 100% honest, I love Christian to death. Christian's a good friend, but it's I don't know. It's different. It's just that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
I think it'll be close, but it's different.
I love JJ to death. JJ's a good friend of mine. I love Christian to death. Christian's a good friend of mine. Like I love both those guys to death. I could, but they know me well enough to know I'm honest. I'm not gonna reserve their feelings, and they both know that they're both monsters of the sport. I'm starting to see. It doesn't make sense that Christian is shooting limited 10 as much as he is in limited 10 nationals on a fucking world shoot year. He should be glued.
He was going to do carry optics.
Doesn't matter. It's a world shoot. It's a world shoot year. He's the double champ. He's trying to three-peat. And he wants to, here's the thing. Somebody asked earlier, what does Christian have to do to be a GOAT? Christian needs to three-peat, win a world shoot, beat Eric and JJ in the process.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
but
so here's my point with Christian is JJ's 41.
Yeah.
Eric's 40. They're about the same age.
They're about the same age. They're both in the 40s.
So there's a difference between beating them this year and beating them in 3 years.
Exactly.
Especially in open. So it can taint your legacy. That's like, someone comes into the league in another sport and they beat the GOAT at that time, but he's not saying they're out of their prime, but right now.
Knocking out John Jones when he's 45.
Yeah,
you didn't beat John Jones when he was 26,
Like Eric's healthy. JJ's healthy. His knees are a problem. But in three or so years, like if I'm Christian, and I'm not, and maybe whatever, but I would be motivated as hell. Like, I would want to beat him, like, now. Like, everyone's talking about all this shit. Like, I would want to – no. Like, that's a stamp on it.
I'd be glued to that goddamn open gun like it was a part of me.
If it happens in 3 or 4 years from now, we don't know what the situation is then.
Yeah.
Because, Eric, I know he wants to do – from last I heard is he's like when he talked about retiring, how much longer he loves to compete, and he has one more thing he wants to accomplish, but he can't do it until he becomes a senior, right? So he's still got another 10 years.
Yep.
But the level of engagement could change. But what we do know is right now, JJ's thirsty as a mother, Eric's thirsty as a mother. They're both prime top, and if you're Christian and you can three-peat and then beat them,
dude.
Has Eric announced what division he's shooting?
He's shooting fucking open.
In Worlds?
Fuck yeah. All right, you think Eric and JJ are really good friends, right? Like, they're super close. Here's the thing.
Shoot standard again.
No, here's the thing. In years past, they've avoided each other out of respect, right? You go win your world title, I'll go win my world title, blah, 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 right?
A lot of it was Tangfo, though. A lot of it was because –
they both shot for Tanfo. Yeah, there's conflict, right? You're saying, yeah. So here's the thing. Do you honestly think that Eric Graffel, the greatest shooter of all time, is going to let a child show up and win an open world shoot after just beating your best friend for 2 years in a row?
But at the same time, do you go take a risk at waxing your best friend and taking that from him? I think
Eric's going to give JJ. That's why I think Eric's not showing up for Nats this year. If JJ beats Christian at Nats, I think Eric goes standard production, right? Something. But I think if Christian three-peats, I think Eric is going to go, you had 3 fucking chances. You had 3 shots, right? Now it's time for daddy to step in and show this little motherfucker what's up, right?
Well,
and if I ever get famous enough before Worlds, I'll have Eric Graffel on this podcast and I'll ask him the fucking question. If he doesn't even know who I am though, so that doesn't really matter. If somebody knows Eric, tell him who I exist and I love him on the podcast.
He lives like day to day, like we'll see. That's the thing with him. He knows and he's doing this, he's fucking with everyone's mind. Because what he's doing is like, hey, today I'm going to shoot this stage production, and then I'm going to shoot it standard tomorrow, and then I'm going to shoot it open tomorrow, and all 3 times are going to be the same. Like,
yep. And they're all going to be alphas.
That's what he's doing. So, like, everyone in standard's like, oh, fuck, I hope he shoots open. And everyone in open's like, oh, fuck, I hope he shoots production. Because he's like, I wish, that's one thing, like, with IPSC, I wish they would separate it. Like, if they would do a 9 days of nationals type, because if I would love to see Eric wax or shoot every division, like in a world shoot year, if he could shoot other guys too, like JJ, like if JJ could go shoot production, standard, and open, dude, it would be between, well, I mean, we got a couple guys up there, but in those 3 divisions, you'd have Ben, obviously in production, you'd have JJ, and you'd have Eric fighting out of 3 of the top divisions.
Yep.
And it's, Max, if Max would go back and shoot open.
Yeah.
I wish Max would shoot open. That would make, open division would be like, I would go to open just because if you had JJ, just in the U.S., if you had JJ, Max, and Christian, I'm going to say Max. Like, if you put them 3 in open in the U.S., that's like, it would be such a tight race for the top. Usually you got 2 guys. If you got those 3 dudes in open,
If Max Michel picked up an open gun for 6 months, he would dominate. I think he would put 2%, 3% on Christian. That's saying something.
Yeah.
I tried to talk Max into it for Open Nats this year. Me and Max texted back and forth for like 3 months. Like, come on, bro. Just fucking do it. Just go pick up the damn Bedell and get busy. Like,
make him a gun.
Put a fucking comp on a 320 and go to work. You know what I mean? Like, and he, he was kind of like, should I not? And then he was like, you know what, man? I've won so many of those things. Like, I got nothing more to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we talk about era though and time. So it's like, yeah, bro, you want to, but
I see where he comes from. Where he comes from, he hasn't raced with an open gun in a long time. You know what I mean? I know he probably after that text went outside, picked it up, shot a little bit, and was like, still fucking got it, But then part of me thinks like, what does he have to prove, right? The only thing he proves is, okay, yeah, all of you knew I was the GOAT, and I just came out of retirement and open to just prove it one more time, right? But what happens if you come out and something crazy happens, right? Because it is racing. Something breaks, whatever, you lose. Yeah. Now,
it can taint legacy.
Exactly, right? To him, it was like, no, if he wants some, come get some. You know what division I'm in. Yeah. I've been in the same fucking division for 5 years. Nobody's come close. If you want to taste the daddy, come and get it.
That's what surprised me is more of the top. And because between open and carry optics, and it might just be due to gun contract stuff, but it surprises me that not the open heat doesn't want to go taste or play with that. Like, that really kind of throws me off. Like, why not go play in carry optics? Like some of these top open.
I'm tempted. I almost did.
Put them so close together. But like, I would love to see JJ. I would love to see Christian. I would love to see, like, if Eric, I don't know if Eric ever, because what's in IPSC? It's like production optics, right?
Yeah, production optics.
The way our carry optics should be. That's neither here nor there. But
yeah.
So open this year, I'm definitely going JJ. World shoot, if Eric shoots open. I mean, we could talk IPSC because I'm big. I love IPSC. I'll pick apart all the foreign shooters. I spend more time looking at that than U.S. shooters. But
I do too, actually.
If Worlds, Eric, whatever division he shoots, he'll win. I hope Ben, I don't see shooting USPSA this year.
I don't either.
Obviously, he'll shoot Worlds. But I mean, he won Worlds in 2017.
You know who my standard pick is?
For what? For Worlds?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
My standard division pick? Bro Texon.
Yeah. He's got the skill, but when we go back into the experience.
Look at Magnus Cup, bro. He shot on the stage with arguably the greatest standard shooter at that time.
But did he know? Like at that, so you can play naivety. Like when what was he like? We were shooting he's like 15
16.
at Magnus, right?
15 or 16. Yeah.
How do
He
you know
knew who that was.
he knows who Shane, he knows who those guys are.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're just a young, naive, like the pressure's not there because you're a 15-year-old kid. Once you get known and people know about you, then it's like, oh, I got to do something. I'm not saying he can't. I think he has the ability. I just don't know. I know he's got a girlfriend. I know he's got a girlfriend now.
He had that girlfriend at that point.
Really? What are they married? What do they do in the Philippines? Damn, dude.
I don't know, but that kid's a fucking rock star in the Philippines, dog. Like pressure's been there. You don't understand the pressure for him to beat Shane was more than the pressure for Shane to beat him coming into that match. That kid is a fucking killer. He's got ice in his veins. He's a beast. I think he's going to be very dangerous.
Shane had a bad match.
He had a piss poor match. I think
do you think it got to him because of what Bro was doing?
I think he watched Bro shoot a few stages and was like, "Oh fuck."
Well, we went on the last day and we watched him shoot, and I remember his fucking dad like, "Hey man, don't like," pretty much telling that kid to run at like 70%. And I remember JJ being like, "Show him something," and his dad's like, "No, don't." So he's waxing everyone like overall winning, and I remember watching him. I was like, "Oh, he's shooting open." I was like, "Oh fuck, that's a limited gun." Like that's and not like a nice limited gun.
Yeah, like a shitty Philippine-made limited gun, and he is whack. He runs it like it's an open gun.
You can hear it rattling. It's like clack, 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 clack. Yeah, no, absolutely. So like that's why like I would love to see like the future of standard division, limited division in like 3 years is Gianni and Bro, just based on the pace they shoot. I'd love to see them two go head to head. The advantage that Bro has is because in the Philippines he's been such high idol since he was like 12 years old that the pressure thing I don't think affects him.
No, he's been that guy for a while there, and he's got that kid doesn't. So that kid's schedule is: I wake up early, I work out, I go shoot, I get homeschooled, right? I come home, I eat, I go to my personal trainer, I go to my fitness coach, I go to my shooting coach for 3 hours. Like his whole job is to shoot, right? It's like Gianni's a farm boy. Gianni works on a farm and shoots for fun, right? Like it's a different thing.
He's like life in the AMU pretty much.
Exactly. Life in the AMU is like what he's rocking.
Shooting.
But I think Gianni has the skill.
What's that open kid in the Philippines? There's another, like Kai. There's a couple kids.
There's a couple kids
that
there.
Are within like 17 to 21, 22. There's like 3 of them that are fucking monsters.
Yeah.
Like if I was
those kids,
I would come and shoot U.S. Nationals just to fuck with people.
Oh,
like 100%. I wish they would.
100%.
I would pay for that plane ticket to get him over here to shoot. Like, it's a different game, dude.
Oh yeah. I would definitely do that. But yeah, he's my pick for standard. He's a fucking animal. Khalil is the open kid you're thinking of.
There's the difference too, and I wish USPSA would. Someone asked about the rule change. I don't know if you want to get into that, but
no, fuck that.
The USPSA to me is veering so far away from IPSC that I feel we're doing our shooters a disservice in the World Shoot Year. Because
I think so too.
One of the bylaws, Hansa Kim talked about this a week or so ago on one of the podcasts. Like the bylaws is to prepare our U.S. shooters in preparation for world shoots, like to be international U.S. shooters. And dude, when you watch IPSC and you watch USPSA, it's not even fucking close to the same. The format, the matches, the way they're run, the way they're managed, the way that everything, it's like a fucking party. People are taping. We'll get away from that. But the format, the short to mid to long, the requirement of the mind game of execution, the amount of movers, the amount of props, not like Area 3 style props, but
like legit props.
Legit props, like, I mean, you shot Magnus. Magnus was probably the last closest IPSC style match we've had in the U.S.
And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Ports this tall off, like that's what they do. the amount of moving steel, swinging steel, like just the technical shooting, like USPSA doesn't do that. And I feel that when in a world shoot year, that is where somewhere where like Bro or like Eric, those dudes, like watch Eric's video. Have you ever seen a USPSA stage in the States like what he's running?
Nope.
No. But every IPSC stage is set, they're set that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's constant gun up, constant flow, none of this bullshit, run to this corner, shoot an array, run to this corner, shoot an array. It's gun up, nonstop shooting, gathering points with fucking 6-inch plates on swingers at 20 yards. And these dudes are just like, it's insane.
Yep.
That's what's going to be at Worlds. And I feel for our dudes that are going to Worlds. Like if I was on a world shoot, this is a world shoot year. Part of my training, I don't talk about it too much, but part of my visualization and long-term goal for world shoot is I'm training this year as if I was going.
Same here.
Even though I'm not, I'm training. So I have Casey but building me swinging steel, the stuff when I watch Eric's videos, like you probably seen my posts, some posts, I'm doing like 25-yard swingers with partials. I'm getting a lot of swinging steel. Like I'm paying money to replicate that style of shooting because national champ's cool. World champ, big difference. And if you can shoot that shit, if you can shoot that stuff, like to Eric, what they're practicing, USPSA is boring compared to that. Like if you master that skill set,
it's a totally different animal.
I mean, some of the short course stuff that I watch, like one of the matches in the Philippines, JJ was posted, I think it was last year. And some of the shit they were doing, like some of the movers, like a 20-yard slider on a mover from like a low-angled port, like you don't see that, right? But those dudes shoot that all the time.
Yep.
You come over here, and it's like I see guys bitching about a tux at 20, and these motherfuckers are shooting a partial on a fucking ramp going 20.
Yeah.
Like it's the damn Donkey Cup while they're kneeled, crouched in a position. I'm like, dude. So training-wise, like when we talk training of, I want to train the hardest stuff to make match stuff easy. So like if I have a swinger, I'm doubling pace and I'm doubling speed.
Yep.
I have steel. Like my plate rack, I have a 2-inch plate rack, a 4-inch plate rack, and a 6-inch plate rack. And that's what I practice on because anything I do, like you want it at that level. So when we talk about these dudes like in the Philippines or some of the Russian dudes are monsters, France, like some of these other guys, they're shooting that shit at locals. They're shooting local matches with fucking stuff that our USPSA kids, not kids, but shooters bitch about when there's a head box at 15 and now we're dumbing down stages, dumbing down everything. Well, meanwhile, over there, it's like, no. You either get good and shoot this or you suck.
Fucking suck, yeah.
But it makes you, it's like, and maybe that appeals to you and I why we're attracted to the trial by fire because it's like we both hate to suck.
Yeah.
And I'm at, like, I'll go fucking spend thousands of dollars to get those style targets to not suck. Because I know if I can do that when I shoot USPSA and I come to a position, it's like, that's just a fucking popper at 25. I'm used to shooting a swinging 6-inch plate at 25. There's a big difference. And I think they got a leg up on a world shoot. All those foreign dudes have a huge leg up.
Huge leg up.
You know, when they go to that match, it ain't going to be USPSA style. And I wish Foley or the administration, like this year, our national championship, even though it's USPSA, it should be IPSC style. And IPSC style is short course, mid course, long course with flow, constant movement, constant gun up, constant shooting, technical positioning, tight positioning, it's a shooting game.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think I've practiced on anything over a 3-inch A zone exposure in forever. And I mean, like, I'm painting all my targets to where I only get this much exposure, either horizontally or vertically. A little JJ trick, you've seen it. Even my swingers.
If you don't do that, you've shoved it way in the back of the bay.
Yeah. Like I think I brought out an open paper for the first time like a couple days ago, and that was to put it at 80 yards.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I don't know. And this might just be,
That was to
You make
go.
you
Yeah, that was to
make that
go
easy.
small steel, 25-yard swinger, 80-yard open paper to a small steel at like 20 yards. It was in there.
Yeah. I need to start going. Sometimes I'll shoot on like the 100-yard bay. I posted a video the other day of like I have like a 6-inch activator plate to my swinger. I had like an open paper and then a small mini popper at like 30.
Sounds like
And
a
the
great
swinger's like
idea
20,
until you got to score that
25.
motherfucker every run.
Yeah, I know. But people are like, oh, what? I've never seen that array. Like, why are you? I literally had 2 people DM me. Why would that looks cool and all, but you're never going to shoot that. And I'm like, exactly. Because I can shoot that. What the fuck do you think I'm going to do when it's at 10 yards?
I've had
If
people
I can
come.
double, if I can one pass double a swinger 2 alpha at 25, what's going to happen when that bitch is at 7? Like,
Yep.
I'm going to shoot it moving.
I've
So
had
it's-
people
it's
show up to practice with me and go, "This is fucking stupid. Why are we doing it?"
That's
You know
why a lot of
because everything you see is going to be easy after
Tyler's
this.
Tyler's on here probably when he first started practicing with me, when he got it like heavily in the USPSA. He's like, why the fuck? Because I was practicing with JJ. JJ moved, and when you practice with JJ, it's like, hey bro, here's an A zone, it's this big. Like here's a tux and it's this wide.
Yeah.
So JJ moves, COVID hit, JJ moves, Tyler starts training with me, and we were shooting like 1,000, well over 1,000 rounds a week. We were training Tuesdays, Thursdays, shooting a match either Saturday, Sunday, and practicing on the other day. And we did that for like 6 months. And he went, and I went GM quick. Like that was what we were doing. But other people would come practice with us, and they'd be like, what the fuck? Because it's like, hey, we got a partial like at the back corner of the bay, and everything's stupid, like ridiculous. And like, yeah, because now everything else is easy.
Yep.
And you hold yourself to that standard.
Yeah, and now, like I rarely do any stationary shooting. Like everything I do is shooting on the move. I'm shooting that shit on the move, and I'm trying to do it fast and effective.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
That's one of my biggest fixes is in single stack. If you're moving your loading, and a lot of the arrays require like you can merge stuff, but there's a lot of loss in merging because you have to load. So like I can't merge this position to this one because I got to load in between them. So there's I lost a lot of that, and so that's one of my biggest things where I watch JJ a lot because he's the OG of merging and gun up all the time. But that's I think strongly because his IPSC style, and that favors to him. If Christian beats JJ at Nationals, JJ will smoke him at Worlds because World IPSC, that style of match plays to JJ style of shooting. And that's what I'm saying. I would love, and maybe this is a change in USPSA that some of the guys younger coming up are getting into area directors, section directors, like starting from the base up, but there has to be a shift at some point of the style of shooting.
Hashtag Matt Hopkins for president or Tyler.
Yeah. Well, even how matches are designed and stuff. I mean, it's become ultra a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some great matches, but the flow, and I think it's because a lot of the European base, like they don't have the space, they don't have the opportunity, and they're going to put 32 rounds like in this area, and it's got to be tight. But it shows on technical skill set a lot more on shooting ability. And I wish we'd see more of that. I mean, luckily we'll have IPSC Nats and we'll have Pan American.
Which sucks because IPSC Nats is literally the fucking same weekend as Area 4.
Yeah, well, I'm shooting. When it opens, I'll shoot IPSC Nats.
I know, but I'm in Area 4, dog.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But I'd rather shoot IPSC Nats, but also I want to be the area. I was 4 points from being the Area 4 champion last year, okay?
There you go.
4 goddamn points.
Talk to your area director, get them to get you in and shoot you like a Thursday, shoot staff, and then fly out.
That's probably what I'm going to do. I got to look at the scheduling.
That's how you got to flex sometimes. I've seen other dudes do it.
Yeah, I got to look at it. Yeah, I got to look at it a lot. But anywho.
That's my big push. I have some things hopefully in the works. I did not want to get into I was like the section with our section deputy, whatever. And I'm so busy with my schedule, but I've gotten to the point where like matches and match quality. I mean, I'll drive. We have a match every single weekend here, and you could pick from 2 or 3. And I'm at the point where I'll drive 2.5 hours to shoot with Jalise, Justine, Maxley Grandis, or I'll drive 3 hours to Cali to shoot. They do IPSC at NRG, and you'll have like 100 shooters, top guys. I always win limited when I go, but I'm just saying I make that drive because of that quality. And it's like here in our valley, I'm at the point, if some things work out, I will get affiliation and build a fucking bomb-ass range. I mean, I was at the point where I was looking at land outside of Vegas to buy 100 acres to build my own training facility just so I could have better matches. And I hope USPSA, the recent rule changes go in the opposite direction on this shit. But I think maybe it'll be a wake-up call when we go get fucked up at Worlds. I hope that's not the case, but anyone who hasn't shot IPSC, unfortunately, a lot of the shooters don't know what we're talking about because they haven't had the opportunity, right? But it's a different flavor. It's a different game. It's harder, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like it. Like, just go on YouTube and search, like, Extreme Euro, or even the U.S., like the Pan Games. Like, when you're shooting 32 or 36 stages in 3 days, 4 days.
It's a fucking different beast.
And they're everything from, like, you want to talk about forgetting position and forgetting targets, like the complexity of the stages, the technicality of the stages. It requires more physical, mental attention. Like, it's the premium of skill set.
You cannot walk stages.
Some people, and this is where the sport differs, I feel, and the rule set is pushing towards the hobbyist and away from the competitor. I feel that a lot of the serious competitors that want that style, and then we're appealing to bringing more people in. That's cool to grow the sport. We don't have the capacity to help them, to house them, which is a whole different issue.
Yeah.
Anytime local clubs here put that technical hard stuff, people bitch. And that's the separation of our sport is like you got the top dudes that want that challenge. You have to provide that. You can't ignore your top 5% to appease to all these other dudes.
That'd be like if golf made all their fucking courses easier because people bitch about how hard it is. No, get fucking better at golf. If you want to be a scratch golfer, put in the fucking work. If not, come shoot a fucking 95 like everybody else and shut the fuck up.
Here's a great there's a reason there are some top shooters that'll shoot like locals and stuff. But a lot of these top guys, you get to a point where they get more out of practice and they'll just shoot majors because their locals are on a subpar quality. It's not worth the time, the ammo, the travel, whatever it may be.
I shot 2 locals last year.
Yeah, so they're shooting level 2 and up matches. The problem that I'm now having with the whole thing is, like, last year, some of the fucking level 2 and 3 matches were local matches. Like, the quality of some of the majors, I'm like, why did I fly across the U.S., spend all this money and time to shoot a fucking local match? And I think that's a separation. Like, if you wanna do this, all this cool stuff, rule change, that's great. That's a local thing. You can't disrespect the top shooters that are going to represent your country in the world shoot by putting dog shit. Like, you have to. That's what separates, in my opinion, the boys from the men.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'll go there and get my ass kicked, and I'll love it because I want that suck. Like, I want to see that struggle. I don't want to go to an area match and be like, I saw 2 partials at this whole fucking area, and I had to stand on a damn 2x4 and get raped by a pool noodle and, like, some of that shit. Like, you see that, and it's like, why? What's the –
Yeah.
If your end game is national world champ and your areas are development for that, to me it's like your local is building for a 2, your level 2 is building for your 3, your level 3 is building for your 4. Your level of difficulty should increase. What is level 4? You're getting to worlds, right? But right now it's like from nationals down to locals. I've shot locals that are better than nationals. No shit. Like, I've shot better design stage at locals than nationals.
Dragon Cup will be...
Yeah, Dragon Cup example.
Dragon Cup will be the best stages you've seen in the last entire season.
It should be a level 3. Like
Yeah.
I think I don't know how they dictate what becomes a level 2, level 3, but to me it should be based on skill set required to compete.
Yep. Should be based on
So,
who donates the most fucking money or whatever the hell. However it's decided. I
so
don't
it's
know.
like if you go to a level 4, that match is the most challenging, difficult, mentally, physically, all skill set tested, and it should be tiered that way all the way up.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree 100%.
And not to be harsh, but I don't. It hurts me when, like, I didn't shoot nationals 2018. I only got into one of the nationals 2019. And when I see at nationals and I look at the national level, and not people are gonna hate me for fucking saying this, but to me, nationals are for the top competitors to compete.
Yep.
And when we got D class dudes taking a spot that a master didn't get or a GM didn't get, that fucking pisses me off. But why are they there? You know, the dudes at that level, if that match was a true nationals quality, they fucking wouldn't want to go shoot that. They're not going to shoot that technical difficulty.
Mm-mm.
When you see a lower level shooter, not to nationals for a lot of people is an experience,
Mm-hmm.
but if you want the experience, go shoot a state, right? You want that nationals to be so difficult to where, like, if I look at Nats, like look at Nats last year, I shouldn't see fucking B class, C class, D class shooting a clean match. If I see a B class shooter shoot a fucking clean match, that tells me that match was too fucking easy.
Yep. Or
And
they were literally just shooting nothing but alphas and took forever.
Yeah. Well, and that's a harsh reality, and that's where people think I'm a dick for this, but I've been D class, C class, B class, A class, M class, GM, and I'm telling you right now, when I was C class, I didn't shoot nationals because it wasn't worth time and money, and I wasn't in it for the experience. I was in it to fucking win, and I knew at that point I ain't going to go win because I'm C class, and I'm getting – it's a harsh reality of it. Could I have gone and shot that and probably shot a clean match? Yeah, I could have. But me going and shoot it means someone else doesn't get to. And how quick it fills up, it's a fucking shame. Like, I get we get slots, but right now the sport dudes like Jay Beal that in 1 year are like top GM and carry optics. There's cats that don't, like Area 7's an example, like this damn fucking lottery thing. Why don't you take like the top shooters? Why don't you take the top shooters? I get the experience side of it. The experience, save that for level 1. Save that for level 2.
Yeah.
In area or nationals, like we want to see the best shooters.
I think in order to be at nationals, you should have to have won or placed very well at other qualifying matches, not only overall, but if you want to compete for the C-class nationals, then you have to have been a competitor in a C-class smaller match. You should have to qualify for it.
Yeah, within X number of states or like level 2s, X number of level 2s placements to earn points, or X number of level 3 top placements. And I mean, you can win slots to Nats by doing that.
Yeah.
I feel that you can't
open up a certain amount for everybody, right? Like take 500 slots, whatever, and fucking distribute them. But the rest of them need to be fucking people who actually are there to compete.
Well, do you know how many? I mean, there's some badass shooters that could shake up the top 16 in every division that don't go shoot Nats. And we know some of them.
Yeah.
You watch them. Fuck, dude, this dude needs to shoot Nats. Well, I didn't get in. I'm like, what is wrong with that? like it's like skills got to be at some point. It's like, bro, it's the seriousness of the sport. When you start taking the competitors serious, competitors will take the sport more serious. When you start when you put a barrier to entry, the competition level will grow like a motherfucker. If you said, hey, all of you can play in the NFL, come and play. This dude can't make it in Pop Warner, but he's over here high-fiving Tom Brady on the same playing field. That's what our sport is. Yeah. It's cool because I can go shoot with Max. I can shoot with JJ. But I'm not in that class, right?
Yeah.
And the competition side of that separation in my eyes is like, no, there has to be Like, this is for the top dogs, and it puts that aura to drive you. Like, if you want to go shoot that, you have to become better.
Yeah.
And
That
there's no need to be better because I can go shoot that. I can go shoot with that and get that experience of shooting side by side those guys. And we could talk about that with ROs, with staffing, with the scorekeeping, with everything. It's like, if you put that top quality, you look at some of these international matches, bro, their shit's like a fucking party.
Yeah.
It's like top level. These are the top athletes that are here, and they're here to shoot. They're not here to tape. They're not here to pick up steel. They're not here to walk a fucking 2 miles to shoot a stage. Like, they're here to shoot.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the U.S., and it ain't a fucking money thing, because we could take the top 3 dudes in USPSA and fund the nationals, and that would be a damn solid-ass televised event with that pay. Like, we all know that. I'm about to get kicked out. I'm going to get kicked out of the USPSA if I keep talking.
No, keep going, man. I'm surprised I even have a fucking membership. I had to renew it the other day, and I was thinking it was going to be like, ha, bitch, you wish, with Mike Foley doing this. But no, I mean,
we can say stuff until stuff changes, but everyone has a different opinion on it.
Yeah.
Everyone, right now, guys that are in, and I've been ripped for this before, I'm sure there's guys that are at C class, D class, B class, A class. I'm not far from that either, that are like, fuck you, Mike. But you cannot say, honest to yourself, that you deserve to be on the same playing field as Max Michel, Christian Seiler, and JJ Okoth.
100%.
You can't, and this is a sport where you can do that. That's great. But out of respect for that, and the dudes that are missing out because you're got their spot, that's a fucking, to me, like a disservice to the sport.
Yeah.
To the competition, and it's making competition stagnant. It's bringing, like I said before, the hobbyist side of competition, and it's killing the competitive side of the competition.
You know how slots are awarded for nationals? It's based on who competes in the most matches. Yeah. So
I've never done. I shoot a lot of fucking matches.
Yeah, exactly. My point, right?
Who's friends with? Yeah.
It's who shoots the most locals, right? Who gets your whatever region spot.
It depends on the section. Certain sections will do sectional championships.
Yeah.
I mean, we fucking raffle those off. Like in section,
yeah.
I know if you win those areas, you can qualify. If you place, you're getting a slot. So most of the top dudes are gonna have a spot.
Yeah, we get a spot anyway. I'm not really worried about that. But what I'm saying is, there should be a way to make this more legitimate and monetize it, to grow it and stream it and do a bunch of other stuff. And there are some people that I know working on it outside of USPSA, unfortunately, because there's no way to work on it with USPSA because they're still stuck in 1996. But it'll happen. It may not happen next year. It may not happen the year after that, but it's going to happen, you know?
The way I feel like it's definitely a sport where there's a majority is made up, like hobbyists, they just want to go have fun.
Yeah.
But that's every sport.
Look at every sport. Look at golf. Look at fucking baseball. Look at all that shit. Look at fucking football. Look at all that. It's all hobbyists who want to be a professional, but there has to be a professional rank.
Yeah. When you want to talk about like opportunities of televising and marketing and exposure and actual big time sponsors, and the sport has to be taken more serious, right? You think some big branding company is going to drop that kind of money, that kind of time to come televise, film, whatever, when you got a top world shooter and then you got some random fucking Joe Schmo. Like it's got to be presented, in my opinion, like the best, the top seriousness at the national level. When I first got into the sport, not knowing anything about USPSA, I was like, oh shit, I got to get, because every sport professional, I was a professional fighter, I did basketball my whole life. I'm like, I got to qualify for this because that's how sports work. Like I was like, oh, I can't go shoot nationals. So when I first got it looking, I literally am searching how to qualify to shoot nationals. And I thought like, hey, if I'm going to shoot nationals, I got to win this, do this, place in this, become ranked at this level to be able to go shoot nationals.
You just got to be on the
no,
site.
bro, you got to have a fast computer. Make sure you got the upgraded internet and you have your credit card ready to check out. That's how you shoot nationals. I'm like, what? Like, there's no barrier to entry based on ability of shooting. Like, that's kind of fucking. That's like tainting in the sport. Like,
it's a fucking joke. But we could do a whole nother hour on that. But we're coming up on 2 hours and 40 minutes. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I still got to go on my run, so and eat dinner. But dude, I think we do this again.
Yeah.
I think we definitely do this again. I know we're going to have a big Area 3 after show. Are you going to Area 3 this year?
Fuck no.
God damn it. You suck at life.
So this year, after how last year was, I'm going to let them do their shit show this year because it's going to be a shit show.
So let's do a Dragon Cup after show. What's that, 2 weeks?
Well, yeah, you need, being that you're there, I mean, bring your podcast stuff. I don't know if you got mics and stuff.
Well, I live in Houston now, so.
How far? Oh, yeah.
It's like 7.5 hours, but I do this podcast from my cell phone, dog. It ain't that fancy yet. I'm working on getting the equipment and all that shit, but we need to just after Dragon's Cup, we all meet in the hotel and do a fucking live like a bunch of degenerates.
Yeah, well, and I mean the number of guys that are going to be there. There's no reason you could capture some in-person like interview type stuff while we're there too.
That's what I'm going to plan.
Is Grady going to shoot it?
I don't know. Grady, are you shooting?
Fucking
better. Yeah. Don't be a pussy, bro. But yeah, I say we do this again, but this has been super fun. I think we had a good time. I think everybody else had a good time too. There was a lot of good information in this. So, it'll be obviously available on every podcast platform. It'll also be available on YouTube. But before we go, I want to thank you for being on here and taking your time out of your ridiculously fucking busy schedule to appease me for 2 hours and 42 minutes so far, like a freaking savage you are. I'm sure you're so like you're the type of dude we could do a 4-hour one, but I got yelled at a lot for that 4-hour one, so people were like, what the fuck, it's taking me 6 days to listen to this. So and I got yelled at by by Morgan. She was like, y'all were peeing on the podcast, that's not okay. Like, whatever, dude. There were dildos flying and all types of other stuff, but unless Trevor needs a hype man / cameraman, yeah, you need to come fucking shoot it, Grady. But dude, do you have any fucking stuff you want to talk about before we bounce out of this thing?
No, I think we covered it. I'm sure we'll get on again. As you can tell, I'm opinionated on a lot of different subjects. So
yeah, so my dream is to get you and Tyler on the same, Tyler and Jim Krantz on the same podcast. I think we can make it happen.
That would be a shit show.
It's going to be a shit show, and we'll call it the shit show. So, I think it's going to be good. But hell yeah, man, I appreciate you, dog. This was a fun one. I think this is probably gonna get a lot of love. So
hopefully we'll see. Sure, we'll get some questions. But yeah, I'll see you in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, man. You'll see me in 2 weeks. I'm gonna come down on Thursday night, and I'll be there Friday to work the booth while you're shooting, and I'll be there to heckle you.
I'm shooting Thursday.
What?
I'm flying in Wednesday night. This is how my schedule got. Not the way I said it. This is my fault, but I'm flying in Wednesday night and shooting the whole match with Max on Thursday. And
Max Michelle?
Yeah.
You lucky bitch.
And then JJ wasn't there, but he moved squads. I think he's shooting for it. So I'm shooting the whole thing Thursday, and then I'm working the booth Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm flying back Monday. If I don't get Marco to adopt me, I'm going to see if he'll adopt me so I can just stay there and live there. But.
He very well may. He's got all the money. But
yeah, one day it's gonna be exciting. But yeah, I'll see you there definitely. I'll have some good stage plans by the time you're there.
Hell yeah, I'm down with that. But hell yeah, brother. Well, man, I appreciate it. Thank you again for coming on. thank you for fucking keeping us alive with ammo throughout all this, and just being a fucking badass, bro. You're a dope dude. You're one of the legit ones. So it's always fun to get somebody like you on the podcast.
Thanks. Anytime you ask, I'll make time for it.
Well, don't tease me with a fucking good time. But all right, brother. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yep, I'm good.
Later, brother. Mike Stoker, everybody. Mike motherfucking Stoker. I love that guy. He's awesome. So if you're still watching this, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. Got some cool, exciting stuff coming up. Working on merch still. Got the logos back. It's gonna be pretty legit. Also working on some other things here and there. But merch should be out soon. And Freiberger, you already got Connor and many things. You already got some cool shit coming. Grady, I'll throw you a shirt too because you know I love you. But yeah, so this upcoming week I'm gonna be posting some cool shit. I'm also doing a giveaway. That giveaway will be announced tomorrow. I'll give you an early entry to it. So that giveaway, I'm going to give away an Atlas Gunworks ratcheting custom leather engraved belt. It's legit as shit. I'm going to give away a Ghost holster. It is for a 2011, but if you have a different gun, we can figure that out. I'm also going to give away some Go Fast Don't Suck merch and swag. I'm going to give away what else? I've got a run and gun apparel bag. We got some other cool shit too. I've got some Pro Grip from Red Dirt Shooting Sports. Some cool shit there. I've got a lot of stuff for this giveaway. It's going to be pretty awesome, and I may have some little surprises in there here and there. If you do win, you may have some even cooler shit in there. So just be on the lookout for that. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We're already almost 3 hours into this thing. So if you made it this far, you're a loyal listener, and I appreciate you. So see you later, guys, and I'll see you on the range.